What's up, guys? AW here in order. Now, I'm just like I'll tell you something. I'm kind of tired today, and hopefully this stream makes me up because this topic what we're talking about is creating a lot of buzz, and not in the positive way. Not in the least bit positive. We're gonna talk about this episode, but we're gonna go a bit of a. I'm gonna let people on. I made a rant about this. I think I'll talk more about this, and I'll let other people get the feelings out of the way. When they allow them on. This is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is Peacemaker episode 8 spoiler review, the season finale. And yes, I said F the Justice League, not because of what's going on, just because, Peacemaker basically says tell them to fuck off. But yeah, some of you are so narrow-minded, you only accept one way. You're just so narrow-minded. And we're gonna get into that, guys. But first, now, you know the rules. I made a rule here. If you come, if you come up my channel on the chat and you start shit up, nonsense up, I'm timing you out. I don't care. But this is not a right. This is a privilege right now. Okay, I don't care. It's a rule, and I have mods. Mods be on lookout for trolls and stuff, just in case it happens. And with that, get my headset in, and it will be, and then yeah. My trusty headset. Hey George, yeah, I'm just getting set up. All right. So invitations are going out in just in a bit. Yeah, hey George. Yeah, thank you for liking and subscribe. Invites are going out. I know who I'm gonna invite. Okay. My friend. Obviously, you're welcome on board. George, come on. George, I'm guessing you invite. Eddie is always allowed on. Arkham, wherever you are. You're allowed on, buddy. Who else? Kata, I know. And there we go. I just got George on.
How's it going?
George. Okay.
I figure since a certain Geralt of a certain verse is now calling himself toxic, and he thinks that Snyder haters are toxic, I'm gonna. Although I'm not a Snyder hater, but
yeah, he doesn't know the difference. Or yeah. So how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Last night was pretty interesting. The last couple days have been pretty interesting on the internet.
Oh my god, last night was
But hey, in positive DC news, my article for the movie nerds about the Dark Knight trilogy came out today.
Yeah. So I'll read it later because I had to get prepared for this. But yeah.
Because in my opinion, that's the true gold standard.
Yeah, we're. So yeah, thank you for coming on. I expect more people like last week because this is hopefully because this is a very I don't know, I wouldn't say controversial, but uh, what can I say? Drama. I don't know, drama heavy episode. I guess in a not in a good way, but it depends. I don't know. Like it's people. Like last night's stream, I was on it. Fortunately, my computer shut off in the middle of it because my computer does it sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? When I go back on, I'm not gonna go back on the stream. I'm done for the night, and it went on for like 3 hours to stream. Apparently,
Yeah, I had to go to bed early because, like, on Saturday mornings, I volunteer at my church with religious education, so I had to go to bed anyways. But I caught some of what I missed last night, but I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing.
we got some really like yeah, that stream like some really narrow. Like I'm sorry, but the Max is very narrow minded.
It's just like it's kind of why I don't talk about Snyder stuff anymore on
Mm.
my personal channel,
Okay,
even
yeah,
though like I don't stream like at the
yeah.
moment because it just leaves a lot of frustration, like just a lot of like there's nothing like really going on right now with it, and there's other stuff for me to talk about.
Yeah, and we find out today's news. Like Cyborg and Batman were going to be in it, possibly be in this episode 6, but no, the season finale, not episode 6, episode 8, and Warner Bros. Decided not to. Uh, yeah, we're not going to be played by Ray because Ray was gone, and we're going to play by stunt doubles. And Ben Affleck, the reason Ben Affleck did decide not to do it is because his last appearance is going to be in the Flash, and he signed up for that appearance only. He wanted that to be his last appearance because he actually really liked the script that Andy Muschietti and whoever wrote the script came out with, and he actually liked it, and so he decided, "Yep, this could be my last appearance."
If anything, I'm gonna take the one positive I'll take away from this is that they want a future with Superman. It's just like a matter of when them and Henry Cavill can finally get a good deal.
Here's the thing about Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's a good actor, but it's always been known that he's been hard to deal with.
Yeah, and even if it's not him, like it's clear that his agent is also a tough negotiator.
Yeah,
So I
and
don't know. It's
studios just don't cave in. They just don't cave in. Like that's not how.
but
Yeah,
like I find it crazy. All these people were hating on James Gunn when like James Gunn wanted to have the Snyderverse Justice League appear. And this was done on a Marvel set. So the two things that a lot of these people hate, Marvel and James Gunn, were actually trying to restore the Snyderverse and Peacemaker for like a minute.
well, not really the It's not really the Snyderverse. It's
I
just
know, but you get the idea.
I mean, there's no such thing as a Snyderverse. Like
Yeah, I
these people fail to understand that Snyder does not own DC. They don't get that. I don't know why they don't get that in their brains because that should not be difficult to understand.
see. I call it Snyder tone and arc because he has a different tone than what I think Warner Brothers wants, and it's his story arc.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
what I call it.
But 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 James, the Suicide Peacemaker was actually pretty dark. It wasn't like it had a lot of humor, but if you put away the humor, it was actually a dark show.
Yo, like I mean, like he took on like they take on the KKK, a bunch of racists.
It's gory and there's a lot of swearing. Like, I'm sorry, but do you want to hear Superman say the F word a lot in the movies and stuff or whatever? No, you don't want to hear Superman say that. The F word.
No, it's out of character.
Yeah. You want to hear Wonder Woman say that? No. Wonder Woman should be like, no. You don't want. Maybe Batman because Batman's different. No, but like the guy like Peacemaker for a character like Peacemaker saying the F word. You know what? It sounds right for him because the guy's an idiot. It's just who his character is. Like, and you know what? These people are complaining about James. Oh, because his humor is like from Guardians and Guardians. He did Guardians, right? So he did both versions of Guardians, and his humor like the Guardians. You know what? James Gunn did not introduce humor into the Guardians. The Guardians had humor before the movies came out.
Yeah.
People just didn't know that because the Guardians weren't popular.
Yeah, it's just like with Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's always had humor. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like humor didn't come with Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. It
No.
came like from the comics. Like Spider-Man's always like been quippy, like messing around with bad guys.
Yes, exactly.
It's like it's not like the quips or the humor or cheesiness came out of nowhere with the Raimi trilogy or the MCU movies. Like that's been around since like the Ditko days, the Lee Ditko days.
Yeah, and Guardians were always like Guardians. The character Gunn portrayed the characters of the Guardians. Maybe you could say about Drax, whatever, but that's how they were in the comics. Just people didn't read Guardians because they weren't very popular. And guess what? Guess what the MCU did? They made characters like the Guardians popular. And if people went back to read the Guardians before 2014, because that's when the movie came out, they would understand. Yeah, this is pretty close to the Guardians. That's how Guardians humor was like.
It's like here's the thing, like I don't read every single comic book for every single hero, but it's like I do my research like before I start going
Yeah.
into like the lore of stuff. Like yeah, like a lot of my knowledge comes from like the many shows, video games that came out before the movies and the comics that I did read. But it's like I at least like make sure like I know like okay, I didn't finish this story arc or I never read the story arc. What actually happened before I actually compare this to something like let's say like Brand New Day,
Mm-hmm.
like or like One More Day, because we know No Way Home took inspiration from that stuff, and it's like I never really read that stuff, so like what really happened in there before I kind of make that comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And it's just yesterday's stream. I don't know. Like it's just I feel people on the Snyder side don't understand business. Just don't understand how business works. Like Jarbo, like everything Jarbo said was true, and like they just refuse to believe it because they actually think they don't know. They think a merger's a takeover.
Okay, so here's the thing: they're using this idea that Zaslav brings up the trilogy, the Trinity. Sorry, not the trilogy, the Trinity. That doesn't mean it's going to be the Trinity that you want.
No.
Like in their minds, like the Trinity could be okay. Maybe we do get Cavill like a new deal, but like it's not gonna be like the same. But his version of Superman will be different from what you were used to, and now it's gonna be not Affleck. It's gonna be Keaton as Batman. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It may not be the Trinity that you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like I think Cavill is coming back. It's just a matter of it's not. It's not a matter of what if. It's a matter of when. Because that's
Yeah,
my view. It's when, and Cavill's always been known to be behind the scenes a hard negotiator. On The Witcher, for example, on The Witcher, he has so much influence on the story that's one of the reasons why he had is one of the reasons it's hard to negotiate. He has so much power and influence on the stories of stuff. So he's not just going to come back if it doesn't make sense. Ben Affleck is coming back for the Flash. Yes, he's done playing Batman, but he's coming back for the Flash because it is the ending of his Batman and it's a new Batman. But also he liked the script. They could easily decide not ask Ben to come back and just have Michael Keaton be the new Batman.
yeah, like they can like do that. Like people don't realize that like it's not just a matter of like Zach coming back. It's a matter of these actors and like do they really want to? Do they not? And here's the thing: like I'm of the mindset that if when Cavill does return, like if he returns or whatever, he's hinted that he wants a more hopeful, lighter Superman.
Yeah, because you don't must if
Like
you don't
he
must.
recently said something like that. He said, "Hey, I'm always open to returning as Superman. I do want it to be a more optimistic take."
Oh yeah, okay. We'll check that out then. Thank you, Degrassi. Yeah, like you have to make Superman eventually optimistic because that's who he is. That's a fundamental of his character throughout. it's really the New 52 where they kind of changed that, and people didn't like it. The New 52 Superman, people hated it.
Yeah, and look, you can have character arcs with these characters in films where, like, okay, maybe a film or two they're going through a dark time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, like you kind of saw, like, let's take Endgame for example. You saw Thor kind of like Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame. Thor had like a dark story arc going on where everyone was just dying, and he just basically kind of gave up. Like, so, like arcs are gonna happen for characters like that where they go through a tough time, and obviously that was the beginning of Superman's arc in the DCEU.
And the mistake was killing him off in BVS when the world hasn't accepted him yet as their savior. Because when you saw Superman the death Superman's death with Doomsday, right, in the comics and eventually the animated movie, his death impacted not just Metropolis, the whole world. That didn't have the same didn't that doesn't have the same feeling in BVS because only part of the world accepted him. And not a majority part of the world, but only a little bit of the world accepted him, and it just didn't have the same kind of impact. I think,
It
I
was.
think,
It's not that it was too soon. The thing is that it felt like it was done just to make Batman feel guilty and form the
yes,
Justice League.
exactly. His death was exactly that, and make
Which
Batman realize
I
it's
mean, which
yeah.
for Batman's character arc is good. Don't get me wrong. Like I think that's a good way for his
Except
character arc. But like
except
it's just
Batman, except Batman's the kind of character you would think be the last one to join the Justice League.
like remember like the anime Justice League, like the first 3 episodes, like even though like Batman funds the Watchtower, he said, I'm gonna be part-time, like I'm not always gonna be there, even though he was in there for most of the episodes, but still.
He's he's always been like that, right? That's Batman. He's usually the last. He always says, I forget. Was this Justice League Doom when the was that the one with Vandal Savage?
That was
Or
it was based on Tower of Babel.
okay, yeah, the Vandal
Yeah.
Savage when they voted him out of the Justice League, and Batman basically said, "I never really belonged here," because he had a contingency plan just for case every Justice League member goes evil, right? Like decides
Yeah,
to turn.
and that's another thing. It feels like there was kind of some wasted potential because it's like, can you really see Ben Affleck's Batman pulling a Tower of Babel story arc in the DCEU?
Well, Superman apparently the Zack Snyder Superman does go bad, so
So
you
like
know.
we're gonna do Tower of Babel with Superman being the one. It's like, and that's like one of my favorite arcs because, but yeah, that's like one of my favorite like arcs in the Justice League when like Bruce Wayne's contingency plans like are turned against the League and half the League is torn on getting rid of him or not, and he ultimately resigns.
And Superman actually kind of agreed with Batman there because in that movie he gave him the kryptonite ring. He actually kind of agreed with Batman just in case. I feel like that does happen. Like
But
but yeah, like it's usually Wonder Woman that's the one that recruits apparently. Like, and yeah, here see, Cavill likes to have creativity with Vaughn. I mean, who was the villain going to be? Brainiac.
I
Was that
heard
the
one
original? I
one
think
one I don't know if it was Vaughn's script or someone else's script, but I know Brainiac was mentioned.
I know Brainiac was in Tim Burton's script. That Brainiac was supposed to be the villain. The Tim Burton was supposed to direct Superman with Nicolas Cage and
Oh
Smith was supposed to
yeah, was that
Tim
Superman
Burton.
Lives?
Yeah, the one that never the one with Nick Cage. That Brainiac was supposed to be the villain. And apparently, I just found out yesterday Christopher Walken was supposed to be Brainiac.
I'll be right
Unfortunately,
back. My phone's ringing.
I mean, like Cavill wants to be Superman. There's no doubt, but like Cavill's always been like huge nerd, richer. I know he's a special self in Mass Effect. He's a gaming nerd. He's not gonna just wait around. He's gonna take whatever role that interests him. Like every actor should. You shouldn't wait around for a studio.
Yeah, it was a prank call. Never mind.
Prank call.
No, it was a scam call. Like it was one of those like scam calls. I call them prank calls because sometimes I'm like, are you people serious?
Oh yeah, I get those. They're usually like the 1-800 numbers that are from like different countries. I'm like, what the fuck?
You know, I just kind of find it funny how like it's ironic how like the Justice League that these people want, like Gunn was trying to film them on a Marvel set. The two things that a lot of the that some of these fans hate. So it's like kind of ironic, like
It's yeah. It's like this. Here's what I find about some of the DC ones don't like Marvel because of the tone Marvel takes, right? But they, but but they're open to Marvel being a little different, like with Example Eternals. But they're not doing that with the DC. They want DC to be all the same tone, and I'm like, stop being narrow-minded. Not every character is a dark character in DC or Marvel. There's a lot of. Let me ask you: if they made a Booster Gold movie, you want that to be dark?
no.
And I bet you they will eventually. I bet you they will eventually. Booster Gold. Yeah, you're right. I don't think Booster Gold would be dark. You want Booster Gold to be dark? No. No.
Yo, that
Plastic
like
Man. Plastic Man.
no. He shouldn't be dark either. It look, it's like the same thing with Marvel. It's like you can like it's easier to make a Captain America movie dark versus making an Ant-Man movie dark. Two different
Yeah.
tones right there. It's like
The problem is they all they see is the humor, but they don't see the themes of these. Like they don't see the themes. That's it. Like
like
the James Gunn's Peacemaker. They only see the theme. They only see the humor, cringe humor they call it, but they don't see the underlying theme, and they don't get the context of the humor.
there's very few characters that you can easily do a perfect blend of light and dark perfectly. Like the
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy is an example. Spider-Man's an example. Like there's very few that you can easily like get the tone like perfectly right. Like as far as
Yeah.
having light and dark moments.
And all those people say the MCU is not dark. Bullshit. They get
Yo,
dark when they need to.
no, look at No Way Home.
Oh my god, dark is not all about dark. We have to understand. Dark is. Oh,
Yo,
here's Blind Braille. Okay, he'll be. Okay, okay. What's up, Blind Braille? What's up? We haven't
hey
started the
man.
reveal yet. We're talking about
Talking
like.
about like
Oh, we can hear you. Our voices. Okay. Okay.
But like look at the opening credits of Black Widow. That was like the darkest stuff in like the MCU alone. Like Marvel can do dark. Like I don't know why
They
DC
they
people think they can't do it.
they do it when they need to. When they need
Exactly.
to. DC people want everything to be dark. No.
Like
Marvel.
Doctor Strange looks like it's gonna be crazy dark.
How did Thanos like kill Loki? Did he like squeeze, choke him out or something? Like
Yo, I thought his eyes were like turning red when he was being
yeah,
choked out. Like was blood coming
yeah.
out of them?
Thor's eye. I think Ultron with claw the arm. Like it gets dark when it needs to, man. Like this. That's the
Yo,
problem.
Thor cut off Thanos' head.
Yeah, and he actually saw the head because it's alien. If it's human, yeah, because in Marvel, if it was a human, they wouldn't show. It. But since Thanos is an alien, yeah, like it's a bad excuse. They don't like. Not everything has to be dark. Like the themes of this themes of the show and Peacemaker. When I see people and people that have connections to our people like Max and other people on Twitter saying you see these clips, especially that fart scene opening the opening of this scene of opening of this episode. We're on the truck and Abio wants to apologize, but Chris, does the fart thing every time with the mouth. Every time she tries to apologize, they criticize those people without seeing the context of that scene. Why he's doing that? Why he's being an asshole? Why he's being annoying like that? They don't see. They don't like because we know why. He tried to frame. They wanted to frame Chris for everything. And
Yeah.
Abel was trying to apologize, and Chris wasn't having anything. So he did that. He did it in a mature way instead of ignoring her. It's like it was a.
And,
That was sort of. Go ahead.
and I want to bring up the Adebayo. Like they complain about like how like they're taking like a strong person of color away with Cyborg. Look at how many Peacemaker had. Like look at Adebayo.
No, I
Like
know.
she saved the world, and she's not just a strong like black character, a strong female black character that's LGBT. And I'm not trying to sound like an SJW because I'm not an SJW, but for a lot of these Snyder fans who try to act SJW with the
They're
Ray
not.
Fisher situation,
They're not. They're
the,
fake.
like that's real representation right there. And isn't she like an original character? She's not even a character in the comics, I don't think.
Same with Mern. They're fake. They're fake because the only SJW is when it comes to Wade Fisher.
Yeah, like really, and I'm not like an SJW like diehard liberal or anything. I'm just like saying like these people want to act like that when it comes to Ray Fisher,
No.
but they're missing the representation that James Gunn's able to pull through.
Yeah, because they had KKK in it. Like the KKK, man, the most like this one of the deplorable sect of people, organization of people, man. Like, and they all see because they took away Mercury. Mercury, I think, is the one who accused of Gunn being racist because he didn't have Cyborg in that scene. When it turned out today, he wanted Cyborg.
Okay, I'm ready now. I thought you guys were starting at 4.
I was, but I had stuff.
Hey, Blinded Braille.
Yeah, what's up, George?
Okay, we haven't really gone into the episode yet. We're kind of talking about the stuff.
Okay.
The drama.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Right when I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm early this time, and then it was like, no, I'm like 30 minutes late. What the fuck?
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Nah, it's okay.
Yeah, they're only SJWs when it comes to suitor needs, like the Wade Fisher thing with Mercury. When our good buddy Caden Reed, who got a lot of likes and hearts, whatever favorites, pointed out all pictures of the 4 multicultural characters in this show. Mern, Alabio, what's her name? The detective who goes possessed, and who's the other one? Oh no, Bloodsport, right?
Amanda it was Bloodsport. Yeah, Amanda Waller's in the show too, so
yeah,
briefly, but
yeah, like good for Caden for pointing that out because obviously Murphy didn't watch the show because he would have realized there was a lot of different people of color in the show, and one of the main themes was racism of the show, not just with the KKK, but kind of with the alien race. I wouldn't say that's racism, the alien race, but what the aliens want, what happened to them and what they try to do with Earth. Like, if these people stop looking up clips, that's 10 seconds to a minute clip, and actually fucking watch the show, they will understand the context.
Yeah, but it's not even about just watching the show for them because let's be real, like they're only doing this for brownie points. Like that's why they're saying this stuff, right? Like they don't actually care, right?
No.
Right? They're just saying that. I mean, the thing is, they're acting like Zack Snyder's work was so revolutionary. Like I remember seeing someone say on Twitter how it was like the first black character arc before Black Panther, and it was cut. It was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like that's not even comparable. Like Black Panther was praised. Yeah, but it's not even that. Like the comparison is odd because Black Panther was celebrated for having a large black cast that celebrated black culture, and so it was like really weird to me. It was such a like an insult where it's like you guys are using people of color, right? Because I'm mixed, right? Like I'm biracial, I'm white and black. So it's like what are you guys talking about, right? It's just like it's so insulting, and it's like it's such a weird like you're trying to use that as ammo. Like you guys don't really care. And you know what's the funny thing is too, right? Like they always shit on Jeff Johns, but it's like Cyborg was never on the Justice League until Jeff Johns put him on there in the New 52, right? So it's like, like it's really weird that they just do stuff like this. It just none of it makes any sense what's going on with these people.
Made up sources. 3 years Zach will direct an HBO Max original series that will be set in Nightmare Time, and most of the cast will return to be Justice League 2 and 3. Bullshit.
Yeah. Okay, see, this is bargaining. This is the bargaining stage.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy's a photographer, all right? A photographer. So, what? No. I don't think a photographer would have inside information of that
No.
stuff. And
Grace Randolph has more reliable sources.
Jesus.
these guys are fucking. Like, Blind Bro, you watched the stream last night. Like,
Yeah, that stream was like. Listen, I was trying to be respectful. I'm not. I really wasn't there for
I'm just
the
tired of
drama.
people. I'm just tired of people thinking Zack Snyder owns DC characters.
Yeah, and this is. I think this needs to be said. Like a lot of these people who really love Zack Snyder, they're not too hardcore into DC. You know what I mean? Because it's like, do you really want to see Zack Snyder do Plastic Man? You know what I mean? Like, it's like he has his niche, and you know it shouldn't be applied to everything. And the funny part is the whole idea of the DC universe was not it wasn't supposed to be just Zack Snyder, right? Like there was David Ayer, there was Patty Jenkins, there's Jason Wan.
He wanted to do a night movie, a Robin movie, but Zack Snyder screwed everything up because he said that Robin was dead.
Like people are. This is the thing, like where they get out of hand and they become super fanatic, in my opinion, because it's like they didn't actually even listen to Zack Snyder. That's the thing that bothers me the most. Where it's like I don't personally mind, right? Like after I watched the Snyder Cut, I was like, hey, you know what? Like his thing could have worked. Maybe cut out the nightmare stuff and all that things that I just think it wasn't all that great. But like I could have seen a lot of characters in his universe or in his Justice League, right? Like, and so it's like, you know, he was doing his own thing in one area, and everybody else was supposed to do whatever they wanted, right? So it just seems weird to me, where it's just like every time a DC property comes out, there's always a talk about Zack Snyder, as if Zack Snyder was supposed to direct every single DC movie. It's like, no, that was never the case. Like now you guys are using revisionist history to paddle an agenda. It's just not true.
The thing is, they have, you know, this creative freedom that everybody uses. Like, oh, they gave a lot of creative freedom to James Gunn. If you notice today, they told James Gunn they can't use this. They don't get as much creative freedom as you think, because let's compare to MCU. Kevin Feige, there's no true creative freedom. Kevin Feige makes sure everything has a plan because all the stories have to line up, right? Everything has to, like the end game, for example. Everything has to lead up to end game, but he has to make sure everything lines up. Because if you give full control, everything's gonna be disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You can't do this. So there's no such thing as true creative freedom. There's a little bit of creative freedom, but they have to. But somebody like Kevin Feige, which I don't think Warner Brothers has, maybe it's Hamada, but has to make sure it all lines up. Because, as I said, if you give true creative freedom, everything gets disorganized, and it'll be a bigger mess than it is now, or not now, because I don't think it's a mess.
And I think the only exception, and this is because another studio also has some say in it, is Spider-Man, because Sony also has a say in what decisions they make in the Spider-Man movie. So that might be like the one where like Feige has to do bargaining with. But other than that, like he's like Feige's got a plan and a vision that the director's got to follow through with.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, the Arrowverse, Max. How could the Arrowverse do this to build up to Justice? I'm going to say the Max, but nobody's listening because there's too many people on. You could do it easier in a TV series with a universe because you got 20 episodes, right? Mm-hmm. 20 episodes in the Arrowverse. Each series has like 20 episodes, right? So, and all of them are throwaway episodes, like. But you can easily do it, and guess what? It took years and years of world building. It's harder in the movies. And Peacemaker somebody said that guy, the guy said, oh, but Peacemaker's TV series. Yeah, but it's 8 episodes. And the Arrowverse had a bunch of other shows. Arrowverse started with Arrow. And a year later started The Flash. Then you got Legends of Tomorrow. Supergirl was not originally in the Arrowverse. Supergirl was on a different channel.
Yeah.
CBS. It was on CBS, yeah.
Okay, then we got Supergirl, right?
Or it was at NBC.
Yeah. Then we got Batwoman. Then they had years and years to build. It's easier to do on a TV show.
It took a while for Superman to finally get his own CW show with Superman and Lois.
And look, if they want to bitch about Superman, bitch about Superman before he got his own show, because Superman was crap. The CW verse. They really used them.
I don't even really personally care too much about the CW verse. Like I only watched.
Is this even happening, Plastic Man?
Legends. No. I was just saying because they always have they like what people need to understand is like for Marvel and DC they have like spec scripts for characters like pitches and treatments, and then they kind of go, well, do we want this? So I'm sure there's like from years ago, like decades ago, a Plastic Man script because I know that was like a thing. So, but it was just an example where it's just like. These people who are Snyder cultists, and I'm going to use that term. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. But
I'm using it more, so go ahead.
Yeah, like I really don't care. It's a joke term. But anyway, right? Like these people, they need to understand that it's like Zack Snyder was supposed to do one area of the DC universe, right? And the thing is, they're losing their minds over a cameo, right? And the fun part is, if this cameo never happened, they would be like, you see, look, they didn't even put the Justice League. They mentioned the Justice League, they did all this stuff, but they didn't even show them. Like, what a waste. You know what I mean? Like, this shows that they're not connected. So, okay, they connected them, and now you're crying and complaining, oh my God, this is cheap. Like, I understand what Max was trying to say, but in my opinion, right, as someone I would consider myself a storyteller. I write scripts, right? Like I enjoy, right? That's my wheelhouse, right? I just think that the reason why people have this expectation is because, and no offense, I like Marvel, but it is because of Marvel. Marvel has set this expectation where it's like all comic book properties need to have cameos, they need to have big events, they need this and that, and it's like, but that's not storytelling. And like they tell good stories, but everybody's always talking about what character is going to come next, right? They're never talking about, that character arc with Wanda, or what they did in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? Or Loki's arc, right? Like they only focus on, holy shit, there was Kang, oh my God, there's US Agent, and you know what I mean? Like, and it's very frustrating because now you have a show that doesn't do that, right? It's a complete parody, and to be honest, I think it's the most well-written comic book show, and when you think about it with Suicide Squad, because remember, Peacemaker was a complete asshole at the end of Suicide Squad. He was a terrible character, and for James Gunn to take a character that we were like, holy shit, this guy murdered, a sympathetic character, yeah, right, and flip him to be like, holy crap, everybody loves this character now. That's a big achievement. Not a lot of people can pull that off.
Yeah, they all think, oh, James Gunn's humor. No, James Gunn's a good storyteller.
Yeah, when has Marvel taken a character that literally murdered a main character, right, in cold blood, and then take that character and make him be one of the most predominant, funny, sympathetic characters? They haven't done that. You could say, oh, but what about Loki? Loki was never like Peacemaker. The guy was very borderline on a villain, right? He's not like a cold-blooded killer, right? He's not a crazy psychopath like Peacemaker, right?
No,
and that's
he's more calculated. Like,
yeah, we haven't seen an arc like that in any of these comic book universes, right? And I think that no one's talking about that. No one's talking about the fact that this is a big achievement. That's a huge achievement, right? Like for any storyteller to pull that off, right? That's not a common thing, right? Like look at, I always go back because I like The Last of Us 2, but The Last of Us 2 was trying to do that, and the reaction to it was everybody got upset. And I like the story, right? I still think it's amazing what they're trying to do, but like you're not seeing the same praise where everybody's like, holy shit, I love Peacemaker. Like the characters, like I can relate to him. I could sympathize with the struggle, with his abusive dad and everything like that. Like, so like, and no one's talking about that. Instead, everybody's talking about, holy shit, they only had like 2 members of the Justice League. And it's like, that was a joke, right? That wasn't even the thing that was, I mean, sure, it confirms that the Justice League are still around, but the whole point of that was, the ending was more significant, because that whole ending, that sets up Suicide Squad 3, and no one's been talking about that, right? Like, they've been outed, right? Amanda Waller's been outed.
Yeah,
that has huge, and guess what that means? Like, I guess people don't remember, but the only one on the Justice League who knows about the Suicide Squad is Batman. right?
Yeah.
So it's like that has huge repercussions because now the Justice League is like, hold on, wait a minute, you guys are sending an ops team without us, even though you have our number, right? And you're getting innocent people killed when we're around, right? That can create a conflict, and you can get Justice League versus the Suicide Squad. So it's like no one's talking about
I
that. No
agree
one
with
is
that.
saying it. It's freaking crazy. But anyway,
Also, I'll say this: the reason they showed Aquaman also in Flash because who are the next two heavy movies coming up?
both of them.
They're, it's also a promotion thing. It's also
Hmm.
that they're promoting. And go George.
Also, I have to laugh. Like you're saying, you're never gonna please any of these people. So even if like if let's just say James Gunn was allowed to get all the actors, all the 6 actors to come back to make an appearance, people were still gonna be upset about it.
Of
Like
Yeah,
course, yeah.
there was a post like Warner Brothers made on Twitter about like I guess like the people of color in DC or like in Warner Brothers movies, and people got annoyed that Ray Fisher Cyborg was not included. If he was included, they would have said Warner Brothers trying to put up a good front, hiding racist
yeah, they would have
Hamana
come with an excuse. Yeah,
or this and that, and it's like I'm just like you
or they
can't
would
please
say,
anyone.
or they would say it's not Ray Fisher, and
And,
it says not Ray Fisher, and they're like, oh, and I'll be like, and I'll yeah, if it wasn't if Cyborg came on and it wasn't Ray Fisher, they'll have something for that, and if it was Ray Fisher, then you know what, they have to call Ray Fisher Cell. Then they would.
and another thing, so we found out that apparently Batman had a stunt double that was supposed to appear, but it was cut. So like I see like a certain Snyder bro basically like say I saw on Twitter say, is that the Justice League suit? So it's like you can't please them.
Well, they
Yeah,
have to
you can't
understand. You have to
prison.
understand. You could have the characters like they did with Superman, Wonder Woman. They didn't have the actors, but they could have stunt doubles or like a cosplay or whatever. Because but the same you could do with Batman, but Ben Affleck's made it perfectly clear. His last movie is The Flash, but that's him as Batman. You could still have somebody else in the Batman costume hiding. They could do with Wonder Woman, Superman, and if they wanted to include them in, they can still do
Hmm.
stuff like that. But it would not have been Ben Affleck. It's not Batman making. It's not Batman. It's the actor because
Yeah,
they don't own the act. They don't. I mean, they have a contract actor, but they don't like really own the act.
yeah. They don't own the likeness to the actor. Yeah,
Yeah, likeness. And there's a joke going around that Netflix owns the likeness to Calvin's face, which I think it's bullshit because I don't think that's legal.
yeah. I don't. Yeah. I think it's more so that they probably have a deal with him where it prevents him from doing other things.
He's Cavill's
Like it's
been
a
known to be
contractual agreement.
yeah. Cavill's
Yeah.
been known very influential with the Witcher stuff. A lot of season 2 stuff. He had a lot of influence on the story. And Witcher season 3, they're early stage. I believe the show one where that little back and forth stuff with the quartering has started working on the early stuff of Witcher 3. I think the script and stuff.
Hmm.
And I think last night, RJ might have brought it up. Cavill does not want the last film in his contract to be a small role.
No.
So
Yeah.
He's like Ben. He's like Ben.
like he wants it to be a prominent role. Like I can see if his okay, so he's not going to be in Black Adam, but I can see him being in let's say more likely been in Black Adam than make a small appearance in Shazam or Peacemaker because he would get a bigger role probably in Black Adam. Find Black Adam.
Hmm.
That I
Yeah.
can see him using last film of his contract on, not for like a 5-second appearance in Shazam or Peacemaker.
So,
Yeah,
I
it
think
just doesn't
I
make
think we're
sense. Yeah,
I think we're all agreeing Cavill will probably come back.
Yeah,
at
I
some
think he will.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Cavill.
surprised if he came back like after The Witcher. Like I think that's what's really preventing him from doing
Yeah,
anything.
maybe
And I think WB's kind of gotten like a bit weird with it, where they're like, well, like we want to
there's no good.
develop a Superman movie, but we're not sure to continue with him, and that's why they're doing what with the J.J. Abrams stuff. Like the J.J. Abrams stuff has really gone nowhere. I mean, if you think about it, like you're supposed to do Justice League Dark, which I'm personally don't want to see. I'd
Oh
rather
yeah.
see Guillermo take it over again. Right, he's been developing it for at least a decade. And I don't, J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams is not, he's not too big into horror, so I think that's probably the case.
So maybe that's why he's focusing on the other Superman.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Yeah, and I don't know. Like Calvo's probably doing Witcher season 3 soon, but I don't know what's up with this Highlander stuff because I know he's been cast like in the Highlander remake or something.
Hmm.
But that's been since last year. But it's like nothing to update that. So he and Calvo's been known to do a lot of smaller stuff.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't want to do. Yeah, what George was saying. Why would he waste his time with the cameo for Superman? When Superman is such a significant character.
And guess what? If Amazon decided like if we want you to be our shepherd or somebody in Mass Effect that makes sense to them,
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if he signs on that for that.
Yeah.
Like
Personally, I think they go. I hope they go with someone else. For Shepard, but
if they do Shepard, the problem with Shepard is in the game. Shepard's you could choose which sex or gender you want.
yeah, I think they could easily just make it like you could have. I mean, this is not a Mass Effect stream, but I was like thinking about it. Like you can have the like a brother and sister,
Yeah,
like the Shepards, and then have one be a Spectre, and then have one
like
be
Andromeda.
yeah, kind of like take that idea from Andromeda, and then make one of them a Spectre, and then make the other one have the visions, and then that way you could have like a conflict between the two because it's like one of them has to like be like close to the council, and then the other one's like, no, we gotta like actually disobey them and stuff. I think that would actually work if they do something like that. But anyway, back on topic.
Yeah, where was I gonna go? Like I'm just tired of people. I'm just tired of people thinking that these guys have contract with Snyder when they have a contract with WB.
Yeah.
It's like you are into sports, right?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay. I know George is into basketball. I'm into all kinds of sports. Look,
Yeah.
you have a team, right? You have a coach, you have a general manager. General manager brings the coaches, the players that the coach needs to succeed and win, right? If the coach doesn't get the job done, the coach gets fired, right?
Yeah.
Gets fired.
Yes.
But the players don't leave. The players don't leave because the players have a contract with the team, with the owner of the team. That's how this is. That's the same. That's the analogy here. If Zack Snyder gets fired, the actors that appear in this movie do not leave. They have contracts with the company Warner Brothers. It's the same thing with sports.
And why would they leave too? If you think about it, like most of these actors have gotten popular because of these roles, despite like DCEU not being, completely, as successful as Marvel. But like Ezra Miller wasn't that big of an actor. Jason Momoa kind of broke into movies. Like, yeah, he was doing television, but like
he
his big, he was breaking into like the movie stuff. That was Aquaman, right? So.
A lot of movie stuff before Aquaman, they were not good. I know he was Conan. Conan was a remake, apparently, right?
Yeah, and that was like what 2011. Yeah, it wasn't. It bombed.
He was another movie where he was a werewolf or something that didn't do well. I mean,
yeah, like Aquaman was like his first breakout kind of role, right? Where he got like some spotlight and stuff for movies, right? Speaking, and then for Gal Gadot, right? She, that was her breakout role, right? Like, so it's like right? It's kind of like, so there's some actors where they're probably going to have some loyalty to their role because it is their like role that put them on the map, that made them A-list, right? So,
and Gal wants to expand her film, her repertoire because she's trying to do more serious stuff because she's not been known. She knows she's not the strongest actress. And she's trying to get better, and being Wonder Woman would not help that. She has to. They're trying with their leading roles and stuff like that. I didn't see Definitely Now, but Definitely Now, Red Notice. Like I thought in Red Notice, she was actually pretty not bad. I didn't see like Momoa. Like I think it's they just Aquaman pretty much discovered. Like Aquaman made Momoa, and if you see all the stuff with Momoa in it. He's great because he's a better actor. He should have got a break before being cast as Aquaman because he has all the tools.
Yeah, he does have good range, but I mean, as Aquaman, he kind of plays himself, which I mean, it's easy, right? Like it's a different take on the character, so like I don't mind. But even when because he was the first one that was approached, right?
Cavill. Okay.
He was the first one approached to make the cameo, and then Ezra kind of was, came on later, right after he
James
found
Wan.
out about.
Gunn asked James Wan and Momoa if they could use him, and he expected an answer to be no,
Mhm.
right? But they all said yes, you could use him for this cameo. It's also because they like James Wan, and Momoa said they like James Wan, and it's also promotional for their obviously Aquaman too. But they wanted to work with James Gunn. Do you think? I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you think the actors, James Momoa, Ezra Miller, care about the tone? They didn't really care about the tone of the movies. As long as the movie is
No.
good, it makes sense, right?
No, they're not. They're not like these. That's the weird thing about these like Snyder fans. They're like they think like the actors would be insulted. It's a joke. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like pathetic. It's like it's not even like they're making like they are poking fun at the character. But the thing is, they're more poking fun at Peacemaker because he's such a dummy. Right, like that's the thing that all these Snyder cultists they goes right over their heads. It's like him trashing the Justice League is to make himself look better. Right, that's the joke. But it's like they don't get that. It's like they take it like way too serious. Like it's like they don't get like what satire is. It's like
No,
it just
they don't
goes
get
right
it.
over their heads. Yeah.
Because some of them haven't seen the show. I
Yeah,
know
they
some of
don't
them.
get yeah, they haven't seen the show, so they're not understanding
Or
why
they
he's
click
making
on
these
content.
jokes. Yeah.
And they think, like, yeah, exactly. And I said this in my rant yesterday. I basically said this in my rant. You're taking it. You don't get this. You're making this bullshit stuff about some of the racism stuff and the Justice League scene, also the jokes and all that. But you don't get the context of why.
Mhm.
I basically said the reason why Aquaman. When he said he said to go fuck a fish. I told him go watch the fucking first episode when Peacemaker just got out of the hospital, and the first person he talked to was a janitor, the same janitor that brought him to the school for taking your kids to work day. And that's when Peacemaker said, Aquaman fucks a fish, and then that was a payoff to that joke in the last episode. If people actually watch the show, they would know that.
Mhm. Yeah, they don't care about watching the show. That's the funny part. But yeah, go
Yeah.
George.
They get offended by these jokes. Like, these are fictional characters Peacemaker is offending. Like, quick question. When Deadpool eventually gets into the MCU and pokes fun at people, like messes around with Spider-Man or
This nerve account.
messes around with like Sam Wilson messes around with with Thor or whoever, like, are Marvel fans gonna get offended?
No.
No, they're
Yeah.
gonna love it
Yeah,
that Deadpool, this version of Deadpool, the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, is finally interacting with so and so and so and so. Like, they're gonna
Mhm.
love that the banter that goes on, whether it's with like Tom Holland's Spider-Man or Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. Like, they're gonna love to see this character banter and mock these heroes.
Yeah. Like no one was losing their mind when No Way Home literally called Spider-Man Iron Boy Jr., right?
Yeah.
Like the same insult that fans were calling him. They put it in the movie and no one was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck? They're discrediting Spider-Man." Like, you know what I mean? Like no one was doing that.
You didn't hear Toby fans get offended when like Andrew and Tom were making fun of the organic webbing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dumb, you know what I mean? Like they don't get like they want to say, "Hey, I don't like the show because I looked at this." And then it's like, "Okay, sure, it's fine." But it's like at the same time, you're going to get eviscerated in an argument about this because you have no context to what is going on. So it's like you can argue your point in saying how like, "Oh, it's immature." Sure, it's immature. That's the point of the show. I mean, like if you don't like it, you don't like it. So
James Gunn did Guardians, right? They didn't want James Gunn to directing their shows directing movies or shows because it'd be like Guardians, right? Guess what? James Gunn did not make the Guardians like that. Guardians were already like that before the 2014 film. That's how they were in the comics. Like that. But James Gunn just bombed to life on the big screen because people didn't know that because the Guardians weren't popular. But if people read the Guardians before that film, they would know that's how the Guardians talk to each other. Like. That's all he did. James Gunn, I think, does more research than Zack Snyder.
Well, I mean, he's a fan of this stuff. Like he's like it's very clear if you go back in interviews, he's talked about his inspiration, right? Like like people don't know, like he's taken heavy inspiration from the first Suicide Squad comic. I forget the writer's name. Let me go look him up quick. Um, what was that writer's name?
Like, and Braille, you brought this up a bunch of times. Snyder's only interested in very few comic books.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah,
like
you know what I mean?
Gunn's got I think Gunn's got a larger range of stuff that he's into.
Snyder's probably never heard of Peacemaker.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, it's very possible. It's not like Peacemaker has been even recently used, right? Like that was like you're pulling from the like he's a the thing is, right? Peacemaker is more known for being the analog for a comedian than Peacemaker himself.
I did agree to
right? So
I did agree to actually they kind of the similar storyline, but Civil War is so damn good.
Civil War just had like more fan pleasing moments, and like people will say, "Well, that doesn't make it the best movie," but it's like, but it makes it more rewatchable.
I mean, I call Captain America 3, even though
I don't even call it Captain America 3.
I call it it's supposed to be Captain America Civil War, right? So I call it my mistake. I call it Avengers 3.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
I don't know. I call it Civil War. I call like Avengers Infinity War Infinity War. I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do call it Infinity War Endgame, but you know what I mean with Civil War because like it is basically an Avengers movie.
Yeah, essentially, basically.
It's just they're going against each other. That's all. Like because that's okay. Yeah, so like people just watch the show. If you don't like this, if you watch the show and you don't like the stuff, okay, you have a right to your opinion. To me, people's opinion here. If you don't like the humor, you don't like some of the clips, but you haven't, that's your opinion, but you haven't watched the show. I'm sorry, your opinion it's not valid. Has no merit to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
like I like they want to be validated for not watching the show, and it's like okay, you didn't watch the show, you don't want to you don't like the cringe humor or whatever it is, but it's like.
There's more
because Max was trying to say that this is dollar store Justice League, right? Like they're giving us hand-me-downs. They're not really doing the full weight of the Justice League. It's not about it's not about the Justice League, right? So it's like, and this is why I say like the fan service has ruined the storytelling because this was not there for to expand the world. No, it was for a joke. It was for a joke.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Deadpool 2 did the same thing with the X-Men, and no one batted an eye for that. They found that to be funny.
Oh, what if it's Wolverine?
He's made fun of Wolverine. That's the thing too. He's made fun of Wolverine.
Offended by that. Everyone loves Hugh Jackman's Wolverine with a passion, and yet they find it funny.
And Deadpool has made fun of the MCU in his movies, and no one said anything.
Our fans treat these characters like they're fucking gods.
I mean, they are gods, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Like gods, like in real life.
No, but in the comic, to me, treating them like gods is kind of boring. That's where the MCU, they don't treat their characters like gods. They treat them like humans.
Well, I said this before that like I don't know who said this, but it's a perfect quote. Marvel is about men playing gods, right? Yeah. And DC is about gods playing men, right? That's the theme of every single like Marvel and DC story, right? Like Spider-Man is a character that's trying to inspire to do something bigger than him, right? Superman is trying to be like, I have these, crazy powers, but I'm trying to level and try to understand humanity. I'm trying to become human, right? And so those two stories are drastically different, right? And that's what separates them.
The problem is Superman tries to do that, but the problem is people people in the comics with Superman, they treat him. They rely on Superman way too much to solve their things. That's one.
I mean, not all writers. Like, I mean, Degrassi was saying Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison is like a perfect Superman writer, and he's only written him once.
But I agree. I think they do that with one. I think with Batman. Batman's one of the few characters that Batman doesn't see himself as a god.
He's read him a couple of times, but All-Star Superman is.
But I think the MCU, they Thor is technically based on the mythology of Thor, but Thor is not a god. He's actually his Asgardian.
No.
Like I think they do a better. I think an MCU does a better job of treating their MCU characters like humans, which relate to humans.
Mhm.
Yo,
'Cause
especially
most of the characters are
I brought up,
humans.
like I brought before, Thor's arc in like Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame. Like that's like a perfect example of them taking Thor and like actually like making him connect with people because he's lost so many people. Like we tend to lose people in our lives.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be this immortal being. So yeah, it's an interesting arc for him because he hasn't really dealt with death, right? I mean, besides his mom, but it's compiled, right? You're compiling this character who's lived for thousands of years, and now he's experiencing death in like quick succession, right? So, I mean, and
And
that's
also
something that does
failure.
happen.
Failure
Yeah.
because he blames himself for not like killing Thanos like right away.
Yeah, that's his guilt. That was
So
made
like
up.
guilt and loss, like that's like stuff humans
Out
feel.
of the Avengers, he went
Mhm.
through a lot. I mean, like Steve lost a bunch of decades of life basically because of getting frozen and stuff. But like Thor went through a lot, man. Basically lost everybody he cared about.
Yo, Thor and Spider-Man need to go to group therapy. Like literally.
Hey, what's up?
What up, guys?
Oh, what's
Man,
up?
how's it going?
Popped in, just chatted up with you guys while I'm editing this video.
Oh, nice.
So, what are your thoughts?
But yeah,
about
man,
stuff?
shoot, people having a meltdown, man. You know what? I was kind of gonna give them credit because I didn't realize so many of them was revealing it, but a lot of them haven't watched the show and they're trash.
Yeah.
I thought they like watched the show, and it's like this. I'm okay with people trashing something. Like if you want to trash them, go ahead. Like I kind of like Wonder Woman 84 and people trash it. I don't care. But at the end of the day, at least watch the thing you're gonna trash. Like if I'm gonna trash something or rant about something, I'm gonna make sure to like research on it or like watch it or know enough knowledge on it to where I have reasons for trashing it, compared to trashing it and I haven't really seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on Twitter, like even the particularly fandom side.
Well, they're not even reacting to a plot point. They're reacting to an image, which I think is even worse, right? Like they're not understanding what's actually happening. Yeah.
And it's the usual suspects that are doing it. I'm not going to mention their names, but it's the usual suspects.
You can mention
on Twitter.
Mercury.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, I'm not just mentioning Mercury. I'm like,
there's a lot of them now.
There's a lot of people.
I had to unfollow some of the 4 nerds because I'm sorry.
There's like one of them that I'm about to unfollow. I'm not going to say the name.
I know who it is. I know you're talking about.
Because he's one of the usual suspects that's like flipping out these last few days.
I mean, it's funny though to see them flip out. I'm not gonna lie too, because it's like they're so like self-absorbed, like they have no clue what a joke is, like, and it's just hilarious. It's like they have to take these fictional characters way too seriously. Like it's Batman and Superman. Relax, you know what I mean? Like
why do we watch these things? To have fun and be entertained.
Yeah. And it's funny too. There is speaking of Grant Morrison, there is a Grant Morrison quote that like dunks on these type of fans because he was getting like shit for like how like everything has to be like make sense even though it's fiction. It's like, yeah, you're watching a character with a goddamn cape flying around. Like, yeah, it's not fucking reality, right? Like, not everything needs to be super serious and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid.
Yo, but even still, like the Marvel characters are like aliens and gods. Like in the MCU, you can still connect to. Like I can still like connect with Peter Quill and Thor more so than Superman, based on how those characters are portrayed in the MCU.
You can't like. It's hard to connect to some of the DC characters. Like Superman, it's hard to connect.
And look, I'm a big Superman fan. I'm a DC fan, but I'm just saying, like, the way like the Snyder fandom has put these characters on a high pedestal is kind of too much even for me. And I've been a fan of DC longer than I've been a Marvel.
And I'll say this: it's hard to connect to Batman at times too. At times.
I mean, the thing is, I don't go to DC for connection.
I know.
right? Like I go because they're supposed to be like inspiration, right? Like a lot of the stories and these characters and seeing them,
You
like they
know what?
don't DC characters usually don't go through a typical arc. You know what I mean? Like even in the DC movies, they normally don't,
Except the
right?
Nolan
Like
trilogy. I think the Nolan trilogy does great job. Like
kind of, but even then, it's just sort of like you're kind of it's a little bit passive viewing, like at least for me personally. But like I've looked at a lot of people's like essays and read a lot of stuff on DC, and it's like DC's usually about heavy on mythology, and it's trying to like replicate. Like I said, they're supposed to be aspirational. While Marvel is about trying to be, it's more a little bit more sympathetic.
Yeah,
or just to relate to the characters.
Or more relatable heroes, as when I hear a lot of Marvel people talk about their characters, they say, "Oh, I feel they feel more relatable, more all that stuff." And when people talk about DC heroes, they talk about what we aspire to be. You hear the gods among men thing a lot. I'm starting to get tired of that when people talk about DC. Like I understand the characters are compared to like Marvel heroes, gods among men, but like it starts to get annoying because people start to take the God thing too literal with the characters. Because Superman himself as a character is a definition of somebody like who does not want to be a god, and people put this
he's not.
He doesn't even want to be a god. Like and people like Zack Snyder made him the god. He's supposed to be. It's like no, he's not a god.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be a god. He's supposed to be the character that is like the all powerful, and then he goes steps down below, and he realizes what the importance of humanity. That's his whole character.
Humanity treats him like a god, though.
Yeah, that's true. Like man can treat him like a god, but Superman himself,
Luther
is not a god.
says that a lot of times that they worship him like he's a god. Luther always. That's why Luther is jealous because Luther, if you know some interviews of Luther, sometimes he comes from nothing and he had to struggle to get the position where he is.
Well, he has a God complex. That's why. Yeah,
a human messiah complex. The messiah. Yeah.
He thinks he's going to save the world, and Superman is there to kind of stop him, and so he sees him as an opposition.
He believes that humans will not progress if Superman's around.
Yeah.
And he's an example of that, a perfect example of that, because he became successful. And he goes too far. I mean, like, but that's what makes Luther a great villain, foil to Superman, because of that.
I remember like years ago, like these two like reviewers were going about it about like the Superman being seen as a god and like kind of mocking how like some people saw him as like the second coming of like Jesus Christ or something like that. And it's like and it's like that. I feel like that's how these people are now treating Snyder.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like the savior. It's like, dude, he's a man. Like, listen, like, I love the Dark Knight trilogy. I love Christopher Nolan as a director, not just for the Dark Knight trilogy, but for his other films. I used to make fun of how people would worship Nolan as much as, even though I love Nolan.
That was a thing. Yeah,
like the chant from Nolan. Like the chant from Dark Knight Rises. That's like rise in a different language.
Yeah.
I used to mock by going Nolan, Chris, Nolan. But I did it in a joking way as much as I love the man in his movies. Like, I was never a Nolan cultist or anything like that.
Yeah. I think that happens with like artists. They just like fans just like start worshiping them and think they can do nothing wrong. There's a lot of filmmakers like that.
And also, like, I understand people don't like, show love to your favorite directors. It's all good, like no issue with it, like, but I think, and it's me with any celebrity, any person, even people I know, like I don't really like when I praise people, I kind of joke about it, like for me, like when I'm with Nolan and stuff, I pretend to be a Nolanite, like I'm like, praise God, Nolan and stuff, I just do it. It's because it's funny. But like at the end of the day, I was just seeing people in threads today going like, about the Restore the Snyderverse and stuff, like faith, all that stuff. But like, you guys are putting faith into fictional stuff. It's like, I'm not trying to make it a religious thing. I'm not religious
Sanctum, did you see the link on Twitter that I posted that someone said book it? this is gonna happen in 3 years with Zack Snyder.
I just saw it, and I just saw a whole. But I saw some people going there like, "Faith, Zack Snyder gives me faith." Like,
Fate, Alfred.
dude.
Fate.
And shoot,
Yeah.
and you know what? See, Zack
Where's this
Snyder,
Batman?
Zack
Since
Snyder
when?
took that stuff, and then when the Zack Snyder just when I watched, you notice in the movie how Batman was relying on faith a lot, and I was like, "What is going?"
That's
on?
not Batman. That's not
Yo,
Yeah.
Batman.
Batman does not rely on
Batman
fate.
never relies on faith.
Remember the 1% chance? Like Batman doesn't go on 1% chance.
Yeah.
Like seriously, no. Batman does not like Batman. Like Batman's always been known to be like
He's a realist.
yeah, realist. Faith, no, because say it was yeah.
Yeah.
Like Batman. Like I think if he were based on religion, Batman's an atheist.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like I think, like when his parents died, that's probably when he stopped believing in any god.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's always was I mean, before he conceptualizes, he kind of was like a nihilist. Like he was just
And
like,
you know what I hate about Zack Snyder's Justice League? Okay, I like the movie, but you know Joss Whedon's cut when they're disgusting about bringing back Superman from the dead. Wonder Woman and some of the other characters were against it, right? Batman was for it. Zack Snyder, they're all for it. They were all for it. I'm like, dude, no, there should be a dilemma here. Bring back someone from the dead. There should be an issue here. And Batman should not be the one for it, actually. Batman should be the one against it.
yeah.
Yeah, like Batman's always the skeptic of the group.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing, like I know people will bring up the Justice League cartoon when like Superman like was sent back in time, but everyone thought he was dead. Like Batman was the only one that didn't believe it, but that's because he didn't see a body.
Mhm.
Like he sees, like in Batman v Superman, he sees like Superman gets stabbed. Like there's a difference between someone whose remains have just disappeared and there's a chance he's in a different multiverse or in time somewhere versus someone who you see die and this unknown alien device that's known for causing problems bringing him back to life, especially after you've had that nightmare of Superman going bad.
Yeah, Batman is the kind of character that would try to avoid all that stuff. He's always, like I said, the Justice League, and he always contingency plans for the Justice League in case they go rogue. He's always the type of person that's prepared for the worst to happen.
Hey, and as crazy as it is, hear me out. Batman would have a contingency plan for the Rapture.
Yeah,
Yeah, yo, that's so accurate.
He's going to guarantee.
Batman will not have any contingency plans at this point.
I don't think the Eye of Agamotto's around anymore. I don't think that's.
He's
happening.
going to guarantee. Oh yeah, the Eye of Agamotto is gone, but the case, the necklace is still there, but like the stone is gone.
Yeah,
but I think the Eye of
destroyed.
Agamotto. I think the Eye of Agamotto just refers to the necklace, not the time stone.
Okay, because the time stone's
Yeah.
destroyed,
Because the time stone's separate from the Eye of Agamotto, it just held it in there. It wasn't like
unless they get it from another multiverse, unless another Doctor Strange has it, because the current one's destroyed with Thanos destroying the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject of like comic book accuracy, like can we just talk about how like Geralt months ago said like praised Suicide Squad 2016 for being comic book accurate with Joker and Harley in one small clip, and then he says comic book accuracy does not mean it's good.
Right, flip flops.
He self-done himself.
Well,
No, that guy tweets out whatever fits his narrative. Yeah, like
I want to see
he doesn't have a logic.
He must be a lot of fun at parties.
in Arkham games, Batman had a Batcave and Arkham Island.
Yes.
Mm.
You remember all that? Like
He's the most paranoid man in the universe.
Yep. That's why if you remember in the Justice Animated when he first met Martian Manhunter, he was like he was like kind of creeped out meeting an alien. Like you know Superman, but seeing an actual like different type of alien that doesn't look human. Like he didn't even Batman doesn't trust anybody. He was struggling to give Martian Manhunter a chance.
Yeah. Especially knowing what was going on with him.
Right, with that.
Batman's more paranoid than Nick Fury. If Batman was in the MCU, he would have contingency plans to hijack S.H.I.E.L.D.
But one thing I don't understand. How come he didn't have a contingency plan? But the thing is, I still can't believe he didn't know about Damian Wayne. That's the only thing I don't get. What's this man doing?
What? Wait, what?
Like this man, yeah. This
Yeah.
what is this?
Gosh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, because it's so. I mean, Batman created Brother Eye for sole reason of metahumans that went rogue and stuff. Like they keep an eye on everything. Like that's how paranoid he is. I mean, and it's actually like, okay, let's bring him back from the dead. He was the one that gave the Cyborg's the one who saw the future. Cyborg didn't say anything, right? Cyborg's like, okay. He saw. He's like, no, I'm not gonna say anything. Like,
But I thought he said no because I think last minute he decided no, but then but Flash misheard him and said,
oh yeah,
go.
you're right.
Yeah, so like Cyborg was actually more paranoid than Bruce when Cyborg saw the nightmare.
I mean, look, Joss Whedon's cut Wonder Woman's on crashing Batman.
Yeah, like in the Snyder cut, it's only Aquaman that questions it.
Because he's, I think bringing back somebody from the dead is like.
Well, you gotta keep the story going, I guess.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm worried about for DC and Marvel, especially since they're both doing the multiverse. Like, death is, even in comic, like for me in general with DC and Marvel with comic books or movies and stuff. Now that we're in the multiverse, like death is just like there's really no more stakes no more once you like introduce the multiverse. Because I remember years ago I was joking about when Black Widow died, and I was like, well, I mean, don't worry, Avengers, you guys can just go jump to another timeline, take a Black Widow, and bring her back.
That's true.
And you can just steal her and say, "Hey, Natasha, welcome." And then she's like, "Oh, you guys, we're your friends."
Just take the What If Black Widow because the What If Captain Carter.
Oh yeah, they actually did that in What If. They took the Black Widow and put her in a universe that needed her.
Hey, if they wanted to, they could have actually done that. Put that entity What If back in our main timeline. And then Scarlett Johansson could just keep continuing.
Yeah, because at the ending, it was like the Avengers, but with no Black Widow.
I don't think it can because when he put her in when it was fighting in Avengers 1.
Because they didn't have that many Avengers. They only had Captain America and Captain Marvel because everyone else was dead.
Yeah.
So not only did they need a Black Widow, they needed more heroes.
Right. And in the MCU, the way they do their time stuff, the past doesn't affect the future, and the future doesn't affect the past. So it's just weird. They do that backwards time travel. But yeah, so and even where they placed her at, they would have to place her at the time when Avengers Endgame happened in order for everything to work.
Or you could just ignore it. They could just easily just be like, here's a new Natasha, and everybody's like, oh, okay. And then just move on. But it would be dumb regardless.
Does Scarlett want to come back?
It seemed like she did, because there was like an interview where she was saying that she was kind of upset that they killed off her character because she was expecting like more things to happen with her. So like I wouldn't be. Yeah,
it actually kind of made sense to kill off her character for sacrificing for the soul. I know a lot of people thought Clint should have killed off they should have killed him off, but the reason Clint didn't kill Clint is because Clint has a family, right?
To be honest, I thought they would have just gone back and got the soul stone. I mean, well, they would have had to fight Thanos, but like I thought they were gonna just redo and get Gamora back. Yeah, because they just erased like all of Gamora's character development.
Okay,
like that's a completely different character. So
I was saying because Clint has a family. Well, technically Black Widow has a family, right? But like Clint has a family, wife and kids. Black Widow has a family with the fake family, but still has Alina. But she said, "I'm doing this for my family too." She sacrificed herself because she knows because in Hawkeye, Alina got blipped.
Yeah.
She knows. He sacrificed herself for her, and I don't know about Red Guardian with Melina. I don't know if they got blipped, but we know Lena got blipped because you could tell she kept.
Melina.
Yeah. Well, see, this is why I wish, and it's not Feige's fault. It's actually Ike Perlmutter's fault of why we didn't get a Black Widow movie because he had that dumb ideology that a female-led movie wouldn't work, even though that's been proven wrong. Female-led films don't work. And they have it all the time, but they make money like the Alien franchise.
Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel made a ton of money.
right? And also Terminator. But it's like long ago. Why this reason we didn't get a Black Widow movie for so long because Ike Perlmutter. That's what I'm saying. He's the reason we.
Yeah.
You guys want to answer this?
Yeah, Ike Perlmutter was a weirdo. He said like what was it? No, notice the difference between Don Cheadle and Terrence. The race.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah, that was like the most racist thing. That was crazy. Yeah.
You want to answer this?
Who's your favorite Marvel character?
My Spider-Man.
I'm gonna go with Daredevil. Like I've read like more comics with him than any other character.
I'm gonna have to go with Spider-Man because it's obvious answer is the most cliche, but he's my go-to guy. If I want to pick a second favorite, Blade, but Spider-Man Blade, that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely Spider-Man. My second favorite, since like everyone's saying Spider-Man, probably I'm gonna go Wolverine.
My second favorite. I'm gonna be. This is a wild card. I actually do like Captain Marvel, but not exactly the one from the movie, but the comics. And the video games. She's so OP in the video games.
Wait.
I think Brie Larson said the Marvels is done filming.
It is.
Yeah, it was finished a while ago now.
That's why she's back on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most recent Carol Danvers or like Miss Marvel Carol Danvers?
Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't that bad. She wasn't that bad when she was Captain Marvel. Like I think that was like 2012. Like that run wasn't bad. It just got progressively worse.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah.
I just missed a good old Miss Marvel. I missed that costume, man.
Yeah. Oh man,
I missed that costume.
In Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, I use her all the time because she's so damn powerful in those games, and she could shoot out the proton blast. And, like Brie Larson's Captain Marvel was like she was definitely OP in that movie.
Yeah, I just didn't like your character. Like I hope they work on that because I do like Captain Marvel, but it's like that wasn't her character. Like she's Superman. She's supposed to be optimistic and like she's not snarky. Like that's just not her character. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the film, and I noticed this with a bunch of MCU characters, they just made her like Tony Stark, but
yeah,
it's more superpower, like the snarky attitude, the little douchey remarks and stuff. Like I think they was just trying to make her like Tony Stark, make her funny, make her appealing. It was like it's fine. I see what they're trying to do, but it's like still didn't work.
It didn't click. Yeah, I agree.
And then in the movie too, honestly, like the movie plot wise didn't feel like it was gonna work for me because I'm looking at the movie, I'm looking at it in the context of the MCU, and you have to factor in like Captain Marvel been in space as a space scout for like 3 decades, right? Up until Endgame. And you have to realize, like, okay, Thanos is going around killing people for 20 years. She's like Superman, almost Superman level strength.
What's she doing?
I was like, yeah, what's she doing? You're like, and she's like kind of a space police and stuff. She's not part of a force, but she's going around and helping people.
She's a hero, though. Yeah, it's like
So it's like, what has she been doing? Because it's not like what Thanos was doing was secret.
No,
no, yeah,
it wasn't.
He was going around worlds like destroying it, half of them. Like
he destroyed the Nova Corps. Yeah, and like they're supposed to be galactic police, so it's like what the hell.
And I was just wondering, like, I think specifically Captain Marvel, they should have waited until Phase 4 and gave her a more modern day origin.
I agree.
Modern day, not set her all the way back in the 90s and the 80s.
I feel like they rushed her to get her into Endgame.
Yeah.
I think they did that.
They did not do anything in the movie anyway.
I thought she had a bigger role in Endgame.
I think they did that because it just would have been like, where's the? I mean, they still had that problem, but it's like, where's the character? Why haven't we seen her like recently when all this stuff is going down? Like, and on top of that too, I think they were trying to like shoehorn in Marvel, and they just butchered that character. Like that character could have been useful. Like you could have done the gender swap, but make the character significantly younger.
Right, and also make them Captain Marvel, not make them some like the character wasn't even Captain Marvel in the movie. It was Captain Marvel by name, but it wasn't
Which was
Captain
weird.
Powers and stuff, and
I mean,
costumes.
Yeah, the name Captain Marvel in the MCU doesn't even make any sense
I was disappointed
because there was no Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like she just took her last name and then turned it into her super identity. It was weird.
I was disappointed with Infinity Wars after credit scenes because we did get the indication that Captain Marvel's coming, right? And then beginning of Endgame, we got in the first like 10 minutes. And in the last 10 minutes, and I'm like, I thought we were gonna get more of her in the Endgame, like, but that was my just be like they could have called her up and be like, because they had communication with her, be like, yeah, we have a plan to bring everybody back. You win, but nope, they let her just be off in space doing what she had to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
They introduced that character way too late.
yeah,
and also, and this is why I wish they just did this in Avengers 2. Captain Marvel was supposed to be in Avengers 2. They actually filmed scenes of an actor. I forgot her name, but she was supposed to be Captain Marvel in Avengers 2. But that's around the time when Joss Whedon was ready to leave because like they was having him put too much stuff into the movie that he didn't want to do.
Mhm.
So, and that was one of the things I think Marvel wanted to put in, and Joss Whedon was pushing back like no. But she was supposed to be in Avengers 2 at the end with the new roster. Like she was gonna pop up, and we'd have got her way earlier.
Oh yeah, I would love to see Captain Marvel like in part of Avengers earlier on. Like if they did it right, her with communicating with Tony, because they always have that relationship, like her and Tony. They're not like a romantic relationship, but they have like that.
Yeah.
I know she's dating I think she's dating War Machine right now in the comics. Like
Yeah, but they're gonna change that in the movies.
oh
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna make her go out with anybody in the movies. I don't think.
They will. I think she's gonna be. I think she's gonna be lesbian. That's what I heard.
What?
Like she might she might be
Don't tell
the
Jeremy
queen
Griggs
of
that.
Asgard with Valkyrie.
No.
Don't tell Jeremy Griggs that.
So
And
I mean that would be interesting to see.
Catherine Winnick?
This was the chick who was supposed to originally be
Is that
Captain
Catherine
Marvel.
Winnick?
I do not know who she is. I didn't know who she
Catherine
was.
Winnick? Is that Bro? Is that Catherine Winnick? Because I know there was rumors about her being Captain Marvel in the past. Because he worked on Vikings. I know you should know. I think, I don't know. I think that's maybe. Yeah, I heard the rumors of. I know the rumors about Valkyrie. I think that's been confirmed that she is going to be lesbian, which I'm okay with. I don't care. It's fine with. Like,
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I'm not one of those people like.
That's not a big deal. Yeah.
Catherine
I mean I think it
Marvel-
would be a cute idea. Like I'm not opposed to it.
Well, I know Bree
not
and
tripping.
Tessa
I wasn't
Thompson
bothered.
have
The
like
only
a
thing-
playful banter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
like
know-
if they make her lesbian. I'm not tripping. But the only thing I'm bothered about with Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie is the fact that she randomly is now the queen of Asgard when it should be Thor.
But because the thing is,
I kind of understand though. I kind of understand because it's like Thor kind of doesn't want to be king. Like I don't think he's there yet.
The Captain
He
Marvel
never wanted
movie,
to. Well, like after Thor: The Dark World, he kind of turned it down. So it's part of the
Yeah.
arc that's been established since Thor: The
Yeah,
Dark
but
World.
even in the comics, it's like they establish like it's like years later he becomes like King Thor when he's like older and like something happens to him. So like they could still do that, but like I don't really mind the change because if he was king, he wouldn't be on the Avengers. That's the problem.
yeah. The thing about Captain Marvel is that if she becomes lesbian, the thing that doesn't make sense for me because it seems like she had a kind of a romantic relationship with Jude Law's character though in the Captain Marvel. Like you didn't see him kiss or anything, but it seems like in the beginning they kind of had something. There was something there, between the two. I don't know.
With
I don't
wait, what? Who?
With with Captain Marvel, Brie Larson's character, it seems like she had.
Oh
like,
no, he was just like a mentor though.
Yeah, but it seemed there's a little bit more. Maybe I thought they were gonna be. I thought but I don't think that character was that character was always a villain in the comics, wasn't he?
Yeah, that character was I remember when the movie was coming out, like I remember thinking what they were gonna do was they were gonna make Captain Marvel or Marvel a villain, and he was Captain Marvel, right? Like that way they can kind of like do something new.
Right.
But they did the same thing in the comic, but then they just messed it up. It's like that character. I get like Captain Marvel is dead in the comics, right? He's been dead for quite some time,
Yeah.
but like that was still a significant thing in the comic, right? So it's like, why not just have establish that character, right? Like, so I don't know. They dropped the ball in my opinion on that.
I wonder what happened to him. Does he get killed? I wonder if Thanos killed him. I don't know. Do you think he's coming back?
Who?
I mean, he's still alive.
Jude Law.
Technically,
I think he'll be back, but to be honest, I really don't want to see him again. But
no.
Yeah,
It
He was
has
a
been-
wasted character.
yeah, it has been 3 decades. Who knows what new powers he got? But like, he's
they
not.
they
really-
also. Sorry, go.
He's not. If he's gonna be the villain, right? They need to power him up because he's in the first movie. The reason why I thought he was so whack was because like you get to the final fight and he does that derpy thing where he's like, hit me, fight me like a. He's trying to say fight me like a man, basically like throw down your powers and stuff and fight me, and then he just one shots her, and I'm like, dude, you're not even imposing or scary. If they're gonna bring him back for the second movie, he needs to be imposing. He needs that power. He needs to be somewhat on her level or more powerful than her to take her down.
Who is the villain?
Mhm.
Because she's too powerful.
Who's the villain in the second movie? I know they have. I know they have the.
I don't think it's. We don't really know. Like I
I
remember
think
there was a rumor that it was supposed to be Michael Korvac. Is that his name? But I think it's someone else.
Honestly, I feel like for the Marvels, Monica Rambeau is going to get more shine than Brie Larson. Like I really feel like Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
I think
No, a
the
more
fans seem to
focal
like
point
her
than her.
more.
Zawe Ashton, the actor Zawe Ashton, has been cast in undisclosed villain role, with Park Seo-joon also cast in undisclosed role.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. You know what?
You
I
know-
don't know why.
I just hope with this new, because those last 2 directors were Captain Marvel 1. I just did Nia DaCosta's doing this movie and she did Candyman. I heard people didn't like Candyman that much. I just hope
I did see that. I think she's a good director. I think she can pull it off. She's probably going to be. She has like a unique like sensibility style, but I mean, she was kind of leaning off of Jordan Peele, so that's like my only concern.
Why don't they just get her mortal enemy, Moonstone? Like seriously, Kara Sullivan. Just get Kara Sullivan. Get her mortal enemy. That's what they do for all the other MCU characters. Get their mortal enemies involved like right away. Get her.
I think it's because this is like going to be a team up movie.
I know.
Because you have like Miss Marvel and then you have Spectrum, so and they want to establish those characters in the movies because I think they're going to probably be popular characters. So
That's what I know. It's kind of interesting that this movie's not called just like Captain Marvel 2 instead of, or Captain Marvel's, in subtitles something, but they called it the Marvels.
yeah.
I think I'm not saying this is I feel like Feige and them wanted to do that on purpose. So when they get ready to market it, nobody's like, oh, Brie Larson this, Brie Larson that. I think they're doing that because this film might be more about Miss Marvel and Spectrum rather than Captain Marvel. I feel like she's gonna really get kind of sidelined more than them. Like she'll,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just feel like she might get sidelined. That's why I feel.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I won't be mad at it because I do like Monica Rambeau more than Carol Danvers, but I really feel like they might sideline her.
Yeah, because I noticed that like a lot of people don't actually like Captain Marvel. Like even if you think about like people who are positive with her character, it's not like you see like there's like vicious fan groups for Captain Marvel. It's not like Wanda, right? Like Wanda is like such a massive popular character, but they don't do that with Captain Marvel. So I think that's kind of telling.
Well, because whoever handles Wanda, she's far better written.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem
Even though
because
she's going into a villain route, she's a better character to me, better female character to me than Carol Danvers.
Yeah, I agree.
that's a problem though because Captain Marvel technically is like people do compare it to like the Marvel's Wonder Woman. The most strong, most powerful. That's a problem. Like, but Wanda's like I think Wanda's done. I think she's done in Doctor Strange too. I think that's her final. I think that Elizabeth Olsen's final movie. I could be wrong, but
I think they'll keep her around. She just has so much going on. Like they haven't even touched the X-Men stuff with her.
well, she'll like I know. I kind of know what happens. So like, I'm not gonna spoil it,
Mm.
but there's stuff there. I'll tell you that.
And plus Marvel, like once Marvel starts introducing like Storm and like all the female X-Men, they're gonna overshadow her, like Captain Marvel. Like, so I think they should like kind of work on that because she'll get like left in the dust. Fans will pick up on those characters more than Captain Marvel.
Storm, Rogue,
Yeah,
Jean
Mystique,
Grey.
Emma Frost, yeah, Jean Grey. Like, there's a bunch of them.
And I could say that about the rest. I could say that about the male X-Men too, but Wolverine, I think, for some, like, yeah, but they have to do something with Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel should be their Wonder Woman.
I think it's more so like their Superman, because like Wonder Woman is like a little bit of a different character because she's like
Okay.
she's trying to keep the peace. Like, and I guess it could be very similar to Superman, but I've always seen her as like a Superman character. Like, she's very optimistic and she's like supposed to be the best of humanity. She's supposed to be extremely powerful. She's like a godlike kind of figure. And that's why it was like such a kind of a big role for her to take on Captain Marvel, because she just didn't really believe that she could take on that role, right? Like, she didn't think she could do justice.
But I did hear that rumor she might be in Thor 4. I did hear that.
I don't know. That seems a little crowded because you have the Guardians. I know they're going to be cameo roles, but and then there's going to be a bunch of gods like that we know of, right? Like the Black Panther god's going to be in it.
Hercules. Not Hercules.
Yeah.
Just Daddy. Because they went.
The Irish gods are going to be in it, which there's one character that's actually a very significant character in Marvel Comics. I forget his name, but yeah. So I mean, I think that movie, and then you have the Jane Foster stuff. Like, that movie's just gonna be way too crowded.
Have you seen the action figures for Jane Foster? Like,
yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like they're going to take the hammer that was destroyed and just put it back together.
Yeah.
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 I mean, this my only thing about the Jane. I'm okay with them doing female Thor to an extent, but I'm like, Jane and Thor has the worst like romantic relationship in the MCU, and they haven't dated since 2014 in the MCU timeline. Like, I don't even know why they're trying to put them back together after all these years and stuff. It's like it's a little weird. It's like they haven't seen each other in over 10 years, and it's like they're going to get back together. Like, what? Okay.
I mean, we don't know too much on that, but I think they would do they should do this. If they're doing what you're saying they're doing, then I agree, like 100%, because it's stupid. But it's like in the comics she had cancer, right? And so for her to be like kind of upset at Thor for like ditching her, and then she has cancer, like that would probably be a better story. You know what I mean? Like, it would make more sense of why she's coming back.
Right, like if it's a story about them not trying to make, but in titles like Thor: Love and Thunder, which it's like they're straight up saying like they're gonna be back in something romantic. But if this wasn't like a romantic story and he was trying to help her out because of her cancer stuff and find a way to, because he wants to do something, because how Thor said it in Thor 3, it would seem like he's mainly the reason they broke up, from what it seemed like, and he's trying to probably fix some stuff, help her feel better, and she gets caught up in this whole plot with Gore the God Butcher and stuff.
Yo, speaking of Gore the God Butcher, I can't wait to see Christian Bale like play that character.
And it's not CG, by the way.
No, it's all
unless they go over it. Yeah, unless they go over it. But
I'm a big fan of Christian Bale's, and it's like I feel like he sees something with this role. Otherwise, he wouldn't have probably come on.
This would be the perfect movie to introduce Hercules into the MCU too, because his father's in it, and his father, he could have teamed up with Thor's or something, and be like, "I'm here to avenge my father."
Yeah, they should do that, just because Hercules is a significant character, right? So,
but I think Hercules will happen. I think this is a sign. I think having Russell Crowe as Zeus, I think it's a sign we will get Hercules eventually.
I really hope, the one thing I hope from this Thor movie is, can we at least get like a Beta Ray Bill spinoff with like Sif? Because like they had like a Beta Ray Bill I mean, I don't know if he's in it, but like if they can bring him
He's in it,
bring
he's
him
in
in,
it.
He
He's in
fought.
it.
He fought in those. Not sure if he had his hammer.
yeah,
But on that.
he was in the Coliseum, but like actually like show up because I know there was like a rumor.
Pretty sure he's
I
in
don't
it.
believe it. There was a rumor that Ryan Gosling was supposed to voice him. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that was just like people are like throwing that out there because he was like having a meeting with like Taika Waititi. But I mean, I really like the character, and like they have a new Beta Ray Bill comic. You should read that. The art is amazing. It's fantastic. It was like one of the best comic last year.
I honestly think they can do the Beta Ray Bill like pretty practical. I don't think you gotta like
Yeah.
CGI him. Like you can do a practical suit and stuff over him and makeup and
I'm pretty sure
you
he's
know,
gonna be in it. I'm pretty sure he's in it. I thought I heard him. I thought I read somewhere he's gonna be in it.
Because it's always been rumored, but like nowhere, like it's not really appeared in anybody's rumors recently. So I'm kind of inclined to believe he's not in it. And on top of that too, I just want to have like a journey into the mystery kind of like TV show where they like explore the 9 realms. Like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
well, I was a huge fan of Thor 3, so I'm probably not gonna like this movie. But the only thing I'm really excited for is Christian
Mhm.
Bale as the villain.
Yeah, I hope he
Christian
taps
Bale.
into that Patrick Bateman craziness.
Yeah, it goes Patrick Raven.
Yeah. Hey, Paul Allen.
Like, like I'm excited for like Doctor Strange, and then because like all the rumor cast cameos, and they have like Ron Reynolds say he's basically not in it, but he kind of, and I'm like, yeah, you're pulling a Garfield Reynolds.
Yo, he's go. Yo, Patrick Stewart's trying to pull up.
Oh yeah,
Andrew
same.
Garfield.
Yeah, he's trying to pull it too.
But Patrick,
Acting like we didn't see a bald man move like he wasn't in the wheelchair. Hey, or unless it was probably another bald man that floats, and he was hovering.
McAvoy's not in it though. Apparently, I know.
No. Didn't Mikey Sutton say it was gonna be McAvoy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Boom!
I heard a rumor Magneto's in it, but I heard it's not Fassbender's. I heard it's probably Ian McKellen's.
Oh, that would be weird.
Stewart makes sense to bring back Ian McKellen.
Because the rumor.
Because I heard the opposite.
It
seemed like My Time to Shine was saying it was the opposite. I don't know. I saw it on the subreddit, but I don't know.
My Time to Shine. Yeah, they saw
for an NFT.
I just want to hear Magneto come back and say,
she put a list of all the cameos, so she put down Magneto's in it, like Magneto's in it, but she didn't put down the name, like of who. My guess is Ian McKellen because of the Patrick Stewart thing, and my guess is Wanda goes to another universe where she's welcomed by Magneto and moved into like a Genosa or something, where she's like where she belongs, like she finds somewhere.
Well, she said something in the subreddit. That's what I mean. Like she posted that on Twitter, but
yeah, I mean, like why
was I cutting out?
No, you did for a second there, but you're back. Why would have Patrick Stewart and have Michael Fassbender? It would have been James McAvoy, don't you think? Instead, if they had Michael Fassbender, it makes more logical sense to have Ian McKellen since we're having Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, that's a good point. The only way like I think it would be possible to have like Stewart and Fassbender is like for like maybe to give like Stewart's version like to look back at like the older days.
Oh
and
yeah,
like Fassbender to version Magneto to see like what Charles is like years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe to just give them like their own interpretations of remembering how these characters were and like what they think these characters turned out in the future.
Yeah, but apparently it is, and it's gonna be crazy. There's a lot of Illuminati members in it. It's gonna be insane. There are a lot of people are gonna die. I read like the lot of them die. It didn't say who's gonna die, so that's good. I think you guessed like some of them. Like I think Professor X is most likely to die.
Yeah.
Uh, back to the Peacemaker. We're getting a season 2, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
I love this. So let's discuss this end of this episode because we really haven't. We find out why like Diebeard is known as Diebeard. I really like that.
Mhm.
Basically, it says he's a loser.
What I like about seeing and Mike from Road Comments brought up when we was reviewing it was that in that situation, so we know Diebeard, he was the guy
Yeah.
behind the computer. You know, he's the tech guy. He doesn't go on in the field and stuff.
No,
And someone who also reviewed it with said, you know, he kind of was overselling it, but it makes sense in the context because like some people, you put them in high stress situations, and they'll spill the beans. Like they will spill the beans, and they'll take it a little bit too far. And you can see the struggle in Diebeard when he was like trying to say that because like he knew his friends was listening in, he didn't want them to hear it. But if they wasn't listening in, he probably would have said all that stuff to the alien. But it was so much pressure on him. And the fact that he had to go down there into the midst of all these butterflies, these superhuman creatures, and put that helmet down there. And then he saw a kaiju. He's like, "Fuck this."
and
But to be fair, he kind of over exaggerated with a kaiju thing because it's not like he was near Starro in the first movie. But I understand why he was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this kaiju."
I guess
I'm
it's
not doing it again.
I guess it's different. I guess with them, it's different seeing with your eyes, like you're actually there instead of seeing on the computer. Like Starl, because he wasn't there with Starl, so he probably seen Starl, but like maybe on a computer or something. But in this situation, he was actually there in person, seeing this kaiju thing. Probably, so probably a natural reaction would be different, you know,
Yeah.
in terms of the him. And I did love how Chris, you saw on Chris's face, he started to feel so bad, but he started to feel disgusted with himself when Diebeard started talking about why he dyed his beard. Chris was like, he was very disgusted with himself. It's the face he was making. Like everybody else, but specifically Chris, because Chris was the one making fun of him the most.
Mhm.
And it was that was a good ending. I like the fight scene. Like I thought Hardcore was gonna die. I mean, like
Yeah, same here.
like to me I'm glad she's alive because I know she's gonna be Black Adam. But like when he says like that, the last word goes stop the butterflies and stuff like that, and they come back. I thought she was dead. I thought she was gonna die. She shook her last breath. Vigilante was great. We got shot. I like how the butterflies reasoning for why they're doing this because the race is dying and why they're doing this, why they're trying to save the human race by trying to take over, high people in power because they're seeing what humans are doing to their own planet. And Chris did all those flashbacks. You know what, Goff? That was I guess I don't know. Goff. I guess I'll say it's a she. Because I don't know what a sex Goff is because Goff was originally in a male body or in a female. I'll just say whatever. I'll just say the butterfly because she's like the butterfly was like this is your chance to live up to your name, Peacemaker, because if they took over, they could find a way to make peace in the world. But Peacemaker did not believe in that way. Did not believe in this way. He believed in his friends, and he saw that peace could be achieved other ways, but not like this.
Yeah.
Stuff and I love the ending when Goff was there and Peacemaker had the last one jar and Goff was pretty much the last of I guess his brace.
Well, there's still more butterflies, but like eventually all of them gonna die. Like I think when he poured the honey on a thing, and that was like it of what the supply was like. I think there's still a supply out there. But it's limited because remember they're still delivering it throughout the other parts of the world and stuff, the other butterflies.
Yeah.
But eventually they are going to die unless in season 2 they're going to like
Probably
add
not.
a plot point where like they somehow got another cow and are starting over again and going to try and take over this time instead of trying to coexist but still take down some.
I did not like that end. I don't think they should do that for season 2. They should go in a new direction. But I did like the ending.
Yeah, I don't think they should do it either. But I'm just saying, like, if they could go there, but I just hope they don't.
And Chris
Because-
felt bad at the ending because he could be responsible for ending the butterflies.
Well, ending the world
Yeah,
because they were trying to help the world, and then he was just like, "Yeah,
Right,
fuck that."
They still want to coexist, but they wanted to just like manage humanity.
but yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
You know, they
He
still
did-
wanted to manage it, but there's like we're down to they want to coexist. It was like they wanted to keep humanity in check because if we're not checked, we can be the doom. We could be our own doom.
What happened to them could happen to humanity.
Right.
Like, but this is a good episode. It's a good show overall.
Yes.
The
Yes, it
humor,
was.
the humor makes sense for most of the show. The humor has a lot of context. People that this judging based on clips or they're no minus for James Gunn's type of stuff. Don't understand James Gunn is also a good storyteller.
Mhm.
Like if everything is
people,
humor,
and people also forget like just like Guardians 1, Guardians 2, and Suicide Squad. This is a superhero comedy like show. Like
Yeah, it is.
it's not intentionally trying to be a serious show. It's gonna have serious moments, but it's a comedy overall.
Mhm.
Also, I like how this episode, like, you start to see his father, like, haunting him.
Yeah, it was kind of
And
like
I-
Joker
Oh, yeah,
and
I love
and
that.
Batman
like,
Arkham Knight.
and it
Yeah.
feels like this is gonna be something that I think will continue into season 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Well,
hoping,
what?
George. I'm kind of hoping they go the comic route and like full blown with it because Peacemaker in a comic is different, but when he kills certain victims, he hears them in his helmet.
you think they're
And they
doing that?
talk.
Mhm.
So if they're just only going to do this with his dad, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah,
But
'cause
if
that's in
James
the
Gunn wants to
comics,
start to make this thing moving forward, like when he kills certain people, he gets
His
haunted by
dad,
them.
his dad especially because his dad.
But you kind of saw, like, him regretting killing Rick Flag, like, as the show went on. Like, that was
Yes,
starting
yeah.
to bug him. So, like, they
But see,
are definitely
I
trying
think
to
it
be
might
comic
just only
accurate.
be his dad because if they wanted to set it up, then Rick Flag would have been in the show also bothering him in his head. And
the big flag. The big flag thing was like basically making Peacemaker realize he wasn't the hero he was. Then he eventually
Yeah.
became a hero, like because Peacemaker was a joke. And then Peacemaker took that personally, and he realized, yeah, he thought he was a hero, but he wasn't a hero, and eventually did make him a hero because of this. But I do think it's gonna be his Peacemaker dad is gonna haunt him because that happens in the comics.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta bring stuff. Like the guy that plays Vigilante, I had no idea he was like in Harry Potter.
Who
I
was
didn't
it?
know either. I just saw
No,
the
like he
images.
played
Like,
the
Mhm.
character Cormac McLagan, the guy that was trying to date Hermione and Half Blood Prince.
yeah.
Like that dorky guy. Like
Vigilante Hermione. Oh my god!
that was the guy that was trying to date Hermione and Half Blood Prince. I like someone said that on Twitter. I was like, no way, is this the same guy? I checked on Wikipedia. It is.
See, look, man, this thing about DC is looking bright. We have Harry Potter actors. We have 2 rappers, John Cena and The Rock. It's looking bright in DC, man. We're taking over the world, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Yo, just wait until they start recruiting like ex MCU actors into the DCU and like the Snyder fans
Oh,
freak out
shit.
over it.
Dude, honestly, I think looking at how Dave Bautista's his feelings at the Marvel is, I feel like DC might go like, yo, man, hey, you're feeling down? We got a home for you here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely going to be in DC after Guardians.
They want him
Yo,
to be Bane, right? Like people want him to be Bane.
Yo, he was
I
almost.
don't
Yeah.
want him to be Bang. I want him to cast a South American person, but they should cast him as like one of the, cast him as a villain that's like, big and strong.
He
and
was-
menacing.
He was almost in the Suicide Squad until he was asked to appear in Army of the Dead.
Make him kill
Yeah.
a Croc.
Well, he was actually
Sure.
supposed to be. He was actually supposed to be Peacemaker.
Oh, Batista. Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Make
wow.
him-
Oh, I didn't know.
Make him
Yeah.
Killer Croc, but not like the Suicide Squad Killer Croc. Make him the Killer Croc, like that kind of like
A
how
real
Croc is.
Killer Croc.
Yeah, because that Killer Croc was a joke.
Well, honestly, I want them to do like a CGI Killer Croc, like make him the big mutated Killer Croc, not the tiny
Yeah.
animated series Killer Croc.
Yeah, something like Arkham
Yeah,
City.
true.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Or Arkham Origins, like make him just like that, and he mutates over time in each of his appearances.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh wait,
That'd
the
be cool.
Suicide Squad already did have some Marvel actors: Michael Rourke, Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Like they already had some Marvel
But
guys
James
in there.
Gunn managed
Oh,
to get
Idris
them.
Well, they
Elba.
were cameos and they died. Oh yeah, Idris Elba. Dude, he hate.
Gun's
You know,
already got some Marvel guys.
you know what's funny about Idris Elba? He said he hated Heimdall, and then right when Taika Waititi came back, he was like, "I love the character now."
Because Heimdall didn't do anything for the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had like one cool scene in Thor 2 when he took down that ship, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
It's like he didn't do anything, Barry. He barely did anything. And then the third movie, he obviously had to do stuff because Asgard's being destroyed. And then in the fourth movie he was in, which was
But
was
he
really
also
good. He was getting
hated
killed.
that scene in Age of Ultron. He said it was terrible. He said it was like one of the worst scenes that he's recorded for Marvel.
He probably stood still in all those movies for like the majority of his scenes.
Mm.
Yo, honestly, I heard like until Taika Waititi came on board, a lot of Thor people were kind of done. Like I heard Chris Hemsworth
Yeah.
was like done with the role. And now
What's
look
the-
at him. He's like the longest running of the original members.
Yeah.
Because it's been 4
Mhm.
years. Ragnarok from Ragnarok to Thor 2 has been 4 years. Because Thor 2 came out 13 and Ragnarok came out 17.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with that movie.
You know, Patty Jenkins was supposed to do Thor 2, right? Like,
Yeah, she quit. Yeah, she quit like halfway through.
would it have been better? Do you think?
I don't think so, based on what she was saying. She said like the script wasn't good and she just didn't like the way Marvel was handling stuff.
It might have been better than Wonder Woman 1980 Thor, but I don't know how much better.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, Marvel's they got their shit together," and I mean, like, guys,
When she can direct, but when she tries to do too much, like Snyder and stuff, and write and all that stuff, it's like you got to stay in your lane. You got to pull back a bit, just direct. I think she would have made a better Thor 2 than the one we got. Like if she directed, probably would have been better.
It would have been better than Thor: The Dark World. I don't know how much better though. Like, would have been a lot better, or like would have just been okay. This is at least a movie.
I think she would have made sure to find a way to keep Thor interesting because like what she did with Wonder Woman in the first movie, like she made me interested in Wonder Woman. Yes, Snyder brought her in. He made me think like, yo, she's a badass when it comes to fighting and stuff. But like, she made me interested in her character in the first movie.
Oh yeah,
the first Wonder Woman is a great movie.
Right.
Yeah,
That's and also, hey, if she can make Gal Gadot act good,
yeah,
she can. She made Gal Gadot like not great, but she was very good in the first Wonder Woman. Like it was rare times when you're like, her acting is like man, but in the movie she was solid. Like in Wonder Woman 1, like you wouldn't even in Wonder Woman 84. I didn't dislike her acting in Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, it was kind of iffy at times, but
her acting was the issue in that movie.
Her acting was the only thing worth watching in that movie because she actually gave a great performance in that movie.
Right, like if Patty can do wonders with Gal. Trust me, she can make sure to do that with Chris Hemsworth.
Patty is a good director. She's a good director.
Yeah,
I mean, she did Monster.
Yeah,
like she's a good director.
Well, speaking of Gal, you see that clip of like in the Death on the Nile where like they're talking about the champagne.
Oh yeah.
Nah, I didn't see the movie, but someone said with context.
No, like not the movie, but it's like in all the trailers. And
has a cannibal in it. Armie Hammer.
Yo, that's a problematic movie. Like
that's why they delayed it multiple times.
Letitia Wright's in it. Like
they delayed it multiple times. It's not obviously one of the reasons pandemic, but also because they didn't know what to do with Armie Hammer. Like, because Armie Hammer scenes are very important to the film, and they're like, what are we gonna do? Cut him out? And then like, no, we can't cut him out.
I saw someone say the reason Gal Gadot does deliver the line like that is because like in that moment she's supposed to be like stressed out and stuff, and the way she delivered that line, like into denial. Like it looked like she was her character looked like she was stressed out and
like a fake happy.
nervous. She was stressed out and nervous and stuff. So I think in context of the film, her character's supposed to be like that on purpose.
Yeah, I never saw the movie. It's just the way like you see it in the trailers. It's like, wait, what?
Right? It's
Yeah.
funny. Like it's kind of weird and funny.
Because like,
wasn't there like a clip? I don't know if it was like a meme or something, but it was that same scene, and everybody was like freaking bursting out laughing. Did you guys see that? It was it was hilarious, but I thought it was
like
an
a bunch
edit.
of people cheering. It was like I saw
Yeah.
a bunch of people cheering, and I was cracking up.
Yeah.
Everybody cheering like they did when Andrew and Toby showed
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Oh boy.
I wonder if that's gonna be like Doctor Strange, because I have a feeling that's gonna happen with Doctor Strange. I mean,
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Professor X shows up. That's
When any character shows up.
Yo, if like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool does appear, like the theater will go insane.
Yeah, you know they will. That'll probably be the biggest reaction.
That's one thing I'm worried about. No Way Home. Like I'm okay with people like getting excited and having fun, but man, if everybody's gonna be screaming at the top of their lungs for every single cameo that's gonna be in there, there's gonna be a lot of cameos.
Yeah.
Because when I was watching No Way Home and Andrew popped up, there were some people like yelling, and so I understand why they was yelling and stuff, but like they kept it going when they started talking in a dialogue between MJ. And I'm trying to hear.
Like, yeah, shut up.
And everybody's still going. I'm like, dudes, okay, I get it. You already did your backflips and all that. Now sit back down.
You know what one of my pet peeves is for movie theaters? People clapping for a movie that the people that work
Yeah,
are not there.
They'll be there. yo, when Daredevil showed up, my theater went absolutely crazy because it was like the first screening, and like there was like a bunch of like like people my age, and everybody just like went berserk like for like 5 minutes. It was freaking nuts.
A few people were like, "Ooh." Yo, like when I like here's the thing, like I saw No Way Home twice. Like the first time by myself on opening night. The second time I took my mom a couple weeks later. Like so the cheering, there wasn't as many cheers when my mom saw it, but like there were a few people commenting when Matt Murdock appeared, and my mom knows like the Toby, like the Andrew stuff. She doesn't know Daredevil. I'm like, oh, that guy's Daredevil, and she's like, okay. She don't know Daredevil. She doesn't know the Netflix Marvel stuff. Like she watches the MCU stuff and like the MCU shows on Disney Plus, but she doesn't know the Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes, like you're thinking about Daredevil and people reacting like that. I like when that stuff happens because it's like, a lot of people underestimate the general audience and stuff. And to know that people are excited for that stuff just as much as us who's like very deep into that stuff, that goes to show like, this comic book stuff is really like part of the culture. It's literally part of the culture.
Yeah. Like Daredevil, I think Daredevil had like the biggest reaction in my theater. Like everybody knew Toby and Andrew were gonna appear, but like I think some people genuinely didn't know Daredevil was in it, so they absolutely went berserk, right? And Daredevil was like one of the most popular shows on Netflix, so like it makes sense.
They didn't watch
and to see people react to that over a show that has been relatively done for a while, that says a lot about what that show did,
and a mature show too, if you think about it. Right, that usually doesn't happen.
Remember theater reactions. I remember like in the early 2010s when like people were like clapping like during the credits. Like I remember it was like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, the first Avengers, Dark Knight Rises. Like it was just clapping at the end kind of thing. It wasn't like during the middle of the movie when all these characters are together. It's like I think like the last like few years, like the later part of the 2010s, you kind of started seeing big theater reactions out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like George. This is why I dislike when people clap for things that people for sure watch these superhero movie trailers. I remember when Infinity War came out, right? Remember that scene when Captain America is walking out the shadows?
Yeah.
I kid you not. I am not lying when I say this. Almost everybody in my theater clapped when Captain America walked back on screen. I'm like, they showed the same shot in the trailer.
That happened
clapping for
that happened in my theater.
When the first time I heard clapping, I'm like, wait, is the actors here in the theater?
It's so accurate.
The actors here, what's up?
I remember in Civil War when it showed like Queens, people started cheering
What,
before Tom
Queens?
Holland even appeared on screen because they knew who that was.
Yeah. The thing is, you know what was funny? I saw Civil War opening night, and people had a lesser reaction to Spider-Man. It was kind of weird. Yeah, it was a little weird. It was like people were excited and stuff, but like when I like not nothing like No Way Home,
I guess
right? Or like Infinity War or Endgame. Like Endgame, that was like probably that was like going to a football stadium. Like everybody got out of their seat and started clapping.
For Endgame,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yo,
insane, bro.
Story,
Bro,
like
I
you know
think
how like at
honestly-
the end of the
I think honestly for Spider-Man, they should have saved his reveal for the movie.
Yeah, I
Same for
agree.
Black Panther too. They should have saved both their reveals for that movie.
Yeah, they dropped because they didn't need to put him in the trailer in the second trailer,
Nope.
and it was like that's when everybody was like, "Holy shit!" So then when you go see the movie, it's just like, "Yeah, we seen it."
Because the mainline
Marvel-
Avengers was enough to sell it. You know,
Marvel
the-
doesn't need
Mhm.
to. Marvel
Have it.
doesn't need to now with the trailers. They don't need to put everything in the trailers now. Marvel has that goodwill
Right.
that everybody will come see it, no matter what they like. They don't need to.
Yeah,
Really, they don't need to.
They can
What do you
just
say,
drop
George?
30-second mysterious trailers like the No Way Home teaser at in the theater.
Yeah,
It,
Yo,
didn't
the-
give- it literally gave away literally nothing.
yeah. They can throw up a JPEG, a fucking black image, and say "coming soon," and everybody will flip.
exactly.
Like I feel like this new trailer kind of gave away a little bit more stuff than we should have seen. Like the obvious Professor X cameo in the
Mhm.
trailer. We should have not seen that. They should have saved that for the theaters. But I understand trying to sell the trailer. But still, the multiverse in Doctor Strange is enough to sell the trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
showed
yeah.
zombies-
I
they
feel
showed
like
Zombie Strange, Wanda, and all these other different Stranges. That was enough to sell that trailer.
Apparently, that's not
Mhm.
zombie Wanda. Apparently, that
Yeah, I seen that too. My Time to Shine said it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it looks like it, so I can't
I
blame
feel
you.
like Professor X is going to be used in the marketing in the same way Alfred Molina was used in the No Way Home marketing, because there were a lot of rumors about Professor X being in there before most of the other rumors came about. Kind of similar to how Alfred
Mhm.
Molina was confirmed before anyone else was confirmed to return. So I
Yeah,
think they're gonna use who is confirmed or who's been heavily rumored, like in the marketing, and wait for the big surprises in the movie. Like,
Well, this
well, I also think that's because Patrick Stewart is actually like right at the beginning of the movie. Like he has a
you
significant
know
role,
what? You know these
so
actors.
I think that's why.
You know these actors. They should stop saying no or no. If you're being asked, they should stop saying no. Say I don't know. I don't know. Just say I don't know.
see, Willem Dafoe, I think, did it perfectly. Where like the first time, like he hinted at, he said, "I got another project coming out later this year. You're gonna have to wait and see." And then the second time he was asked about it, he was like, "Oh, wait for the trailer to see."
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, Jamie Foxx, Alfred Molina, and many other YouTubers. Man, the Spider-Man No Way Home is the worst kept secret in Marvel movie history ever.
Oh
Worst.
my god.
Yeah.
It's honestly the worst. Like Sony and Marvel, who they both dropped the ball with handling these actors
Really?
and
That's
stuff
grassy?
and having them like Andrew Garfield handled not spoiling the movie better than everybody else. And Tobey Maguire was smart for not doing any interviews, nothing for months.
Holland kept his mouth shut, which is rare.
Yeah, he stayed out the news. Like, shouts out Tobey Maguire. Like, he did it correctly and
So
stuff.
Andrew was out on the battlefield because he had that other movie, Tick Tick Boom, and it was like,
Yeah, these interviewers should just they should just stop asking them questions if they know, because some of these actors they do get into trouble. Like it's not big trouble, but no, but like if they like I'm not sure if you guys remember, but like Mark Ruffalo actually ruined Infinity
Yeah.
War like months, and he got in big trouble for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like sometimes when that happens, they only get portions of the script, right? And so certain actors would either get like just their lines, or some of them would just get the full script, right? So
Don't they usually give people the interview and what to ask them before they interview them?
yeah, and usually, I mean, the thing is, it's not like Marvel is, you know, like if it's like a Disney circuit, then yeah, they probably can ask that question. But if it's like Universal, right? Like Universal doesn't care, so it's like yeah, just ask them whatever, right? Just gonna So that's kind of the problems with interviewing, right? Like not all studios are gonna abide by what Disney wants. So
Yeah, no, like Tom Holland thought like Tony Stark's funeral was a wedding scene.
yeah, and that's because they didn't give him. They only give him his notes. Like what he's supposed to read.
Like especially after he revealed the poster when he wasn't supposed to. But that was also
Mhm.
sent by Mark Ruffalo, so it was like,
Okay.
yo, good thing that Mark Ruffalo did not appear as Bruce Banner in No Way Home, because then he would have probably spoiled something.
Yeah.
He'll spell She-Hulk. If he spells She-Hulk.
Is it a bad thing that I'm more excited for She-Hulk in the MCU more than Hulk?
No, I don't blame you. That she's a good character. I don't blame
I don't
you.
know what to do with Hulk anyways. Like all we know is it's just he's gonna be a She-Hulk.
Yeah, and She-Hulk is probably going to be a fun show. I think people are going to kind of be surprised that it's a comedy, but
Jennifer
we'll
Lawrence is
see.
a fun character overall. Like,
Hey, let me
Yeah,
ask
I
you,
know.
let me
I
ask you
know.
this question: do you think we're gonna get a Hulk versus Abomination rematch, or is it gonna be She-Hulk versus Abomination majority?
She-Hulk.
I think we're going to see Abomination like once, but like it's mostly going to be what's the character's name in human form?
They have to use.
Jim Ross?
They would have to use.
Yeah, but I mean I forgot the character's name.
They would have to use. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they would
they
have to use Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in a fight scene. Maybe they have to use them. Don't waste them. Like don't like use
Well, I
them.
feel like because Abomination was rumored to be come back for this show, and if he does
Yeah.
come back,
He
but if he
he
does
is
come
in
back,
the show.
yeah,
He is
and
in
if-
the show.
right?
Yeah.
And if he shows up to fight this Hulk, dude, I'm just telling you, this is gonna be like Thanos versus Hulk Part 2, but probably even faster with this new version of Hulk that's a professor.
Because he has like a significant role in the show, based on like some stuff. He has like he's basically a client that Walters has to like kind of defend, and so he's in like quite a lot of episodes.
So they're gonna make him an anti-hero.
Yeah. I think this may be an explanation of why he's in Shang-Chi, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Jennifer
Yeah.
is a criminal lawyer, I think.
Yeah, she's going to be defending a couple of. I think she's also. There's like who are those? There's like Hulk characters that are like. I think it's the Wrecking Crew.
Yes,
I think it's the Wrecking. Yeah, the
Yes,
Wrecking Crew is supposed to be in the show. Yeah, Titania's in it. So there's, and we know obviously there's been a rumor that Daredevil has like appears in a couple episodes, like in suit and in court. So
yeah.
I guess that's gonna be interesting.
I think she does do criminal court. She does defend lawyers, the criminals. I believe that's what she does.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you guys think there might be an episode where like Daredevil and her like they have to go against each other in the court?
Yeah, and they're gonna be clapping. He's gonna be clapping green cheeks. That's what I heard.
Oh boy.
I don't know, man. She might break. She might break a man.
Yo, this man in the comics, that's the one thing they didn't do in the series. This man was sleeping with everybody. That was like that was like his trademark.
She-Hulk does that. She-Hulk does that too.
Yeah, this man gets everybody in the comics. It's crazy.
Hey, bro. When Daredevil sleeps with Jean, his excuse is like has to be, oh, I didn't see. I thought she was She-Hulk. I thought she was She-Hulk.
Hey, yo, he's been doing that, yo. That would be funny as hell. Like, yo, I didn't know.
It's like, whoa, I thought she was this waitress from Applebee's, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yo, that's how he's gonna be stealing. He's gonna be stealing everybody's girl, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, I'm blind. I didn't know." That's crazy, yo.
He could get away with it because he's blind. He could get away with it and be like, "Oh, you're blind? Okay, I understand."
Damn. Yeah, I can't wait for that because that's actually funny as hell. That was like probably the most funniest stuff in the comics when it happens.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, just be prepared for all those guys in the fandom nuisance saying MCU.
Oh yeah.
Those
Actually,
guys.
you know what? I kind of want to see Elektra come back. I'm kind of hoping she does because, like, right now she's Daredevil in the comics, and like they they kind of been butchering that character. Like, I didn't even like her in the season 2. Like, they kind of dropped the ball on her, and in Defenders too.
Just
Man,
Just
when that
get-
first election movie came out, talk about a boring movie.
oh my
Oh, yeah.
god!
I forgot the plot too. All I remember is that she fought that one Asian actor in the movie. He was the villain.
Hmm.
He's a good Asian actor too. Let me see. Electric cast. Yeah, it was Will Yun Lee. Will Yun Lee. That was
I
the
know.
villain.
I
He was the
think
only guy I think I
Jennifer-
liked in that movie. Will Yun Lee.
I have no problem with Jennifer Gardner coming back. It's just these are better. if they get her back, which
I mean, yeah, I think she can do it. She still looks good. I think she can pull off Electra.
oh
stuff.
yeah, she was in a movie
know,
a couple of years ago. Like, but she did a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Just put that little de-aging technology on her a little bit, you know. Well, no, she doesn't need it. She looks good.
Yeah,
Some like slight
Yeah.
wrinkles, but she looks good. She can do it.
pretty much like She-Hulk and Daredevil prefer each other because they both sleep with each other. They both sleep with. They like to have sex.
Well,
I mean, she-
quick question: do you guys think this version of She-Hulk will be Hulk's cousin or like
It's cousin.
Yeah,
something
cousin.
else?
It's
Or
cousin.
do you
It's
think they
cousin.
might tweak it a bit? Because I'm kind of getting a feeling she might not be his cousin in the show. I just have that feeling. She may not
I
be.
think it's been confirmed it's his cousin. They're cousins in the show.
Yeah, I think there. Yeah, I think there was a press release saying that.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, because they don't. Yeah, like I wonder how they would kind of explain that because it seems like the first couple episodes, we're not going to get her origin, right? And I think she's the reason why we don't have Professor Hulk, right? Because we haven't seen like in Shang-Chi, he wasn't Professor Hulk, right? So we don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, that's true. You think you can be able to change the Hulk at will now? Just figured that out.
I don't think so. I think there's going to be something's going to happen with the Hulk, and it's going to prevent Banner from like he's going to go back to like how he was in like Infinity War, where he's like he can't bring him out. But we'll see. We'll see.
Because I know She-Hulk could do that, right? She could change at will.
Yeah, she can change at will, but she's not like the thing is she's not really like the Hulk. Like only kind of recently they've been doing that where she's like kind of a monster. Like she's more has just like the abilities of Hulk, not so much the persona,
No,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, so that's why I think she's like Banner's gonna somehow transfer that
She's
ability.
like,
Yeah, go.
What was that?
Did he cut out?
No, I don't think so. You there?
Oh damn! You see, I banned. He just right when I told him to go, he's just like, "Fuck it, I'll go." It's like, damn it, that was my fault.
all right, can you guys hear me now? Am I good?
Yeah,
I think you
Yeah,
hear
you're good.
But no, what I was saying was like how people look at She-Hulk compared to Hulk. She's a gentle giant. She has way more control of the powers. But if they're because he was in human form in Shang-Chi. But
Mhm.
remember, he was wearing a cast.
Yeah.
Oh
You would
yeah,
think-
that
You
is
would
true.
think once he goes back to Bruce, it would be all healed up because once Hulk heals that stuff, especially if he goes back in human form. Like if he got shot or whatever prior to transforming, the bullet wound and all that stuff would be gone. So something's up. Something is up with how they're trying to do this. I talked to Ashley, from the Widow. She was telling me that maybe they might separate their essences, like separate their bodies,
Mhm.
possibly, and it's going to be Hulk and Bruce, and they're separated. Maybe I don't know.
Well, they're doing. I think that makes sense because they're kind of doing that right now, and it's been done before, where it's like they split the Hulk and Bruce Banner. And if that does happen, I mean, it would kind of make sense, right? Like that's kind of like the natural conclusion.
Yeah.
of that Professor X. So I mean, I think that would be a good storyline, but like, where would the Hulk show up? Like, I don't think the show is going to be completely dealing with the Hulk in that regards. I think it's just going to set up what you're saying. Like, hey, they're going to split, but it's like, where does it go from that point? Like, who's he going to appear next? Right? Is it just going to be a season 2 of She-Hulk, and they're going to deal with that, or is he going to be in like, someone else's movie? So I still personally like. I really love the Hulk, and I just feel like the MCU hasn't done much with him, and I'm kind of hoping we get.
right because it limited with them.
Not even that. Not even that's not even my main issue, right? Like, I don't like. Sure, I would love a Hulk movie, but I get it. But my problem is, like, they really handicapped his arc, right? Like, every movie, it seems like they kind of like throw him under the bus, like in Thor Ragnarok, right? He has this issue where it's like, hey, if I transform into the Hulk, like, I might not come back as Bruce Banner, and when that moment does happen, it's played as a joke, right? So it's like, hey, you set up this emotional arc, and then it's just paid off with a joke. It was really weird. And then in Infinity War and such,
Yeah,
they
I
haven't
think
touched him.
Professor Hulk to do that. The worst time to do that arc was Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And after, we're already done before, because in Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame, we just needed Hulk to be Hulk on the battlefield fighting with the guys. Yes, he can get beat by Thanos, but he should have been in that final. He should have been in the the Wakanda battle.
Hmm.
Should have been in the final war for Endgame as Hulk, not Professor Hulk with the messed up arm.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern with his arc, because it's like, they got rid of him in Avengers Endgame, or sorry, Age of Ultron, right? Where it's like, hey, we're gonna ship him off to the planet, and it kind of goes nowhere. Oh, and that's another thing too about the She-Hulk show that I'm just remembering. His son is supposed to also be in the show, right? Which is really weird. I don't know how they're gonna handle all of that and then have his son in the show, right? I don't know if that's a real rumor, but like, there's been like some weird signs that might actually happen. So we'll have to see. But like, I just
Do you think it's his son Scar from like the Planet Hulk situation? Because the
Yeah.
way they did Planet Hulk, it doesn't seem like
I want to know
fought the
what's
Red
up with Betty.
King or
What's up with Betty?
Kyra.
Yeah, I remember I was reading on the subreddit, people were talking about that, because a lot of people are like, "Oh shit, that's actually kind of disgusting if you think about it," because the Hulk that was on in Thor Ragnarok was actually was the child Hulk. So in other words, he was a child and he had sex with the woman. Like, that's kind of weird that Marvel would do that. Yeah, right. So I'm like, what like, if that does happen, I personally would not like that idea. Like, it's really too soon, and the way that it was done in Thor Ragnarok, he was an adult Hulk, so it just doesn't make sense. Like, he's a child mind, right? So it's like, why even introduce that idea? It's like really weird. And on top of that too, like, this show is already dealing with so much, right? So it's like, you're gonna have Abomination, and then you're gonna have Scar, and then you're gonna have She-Hulk, and then supposedly, right? Because this is what they've been trying to set up, Red Hulk. Like, you have like so much Hulk lore in one season. Yeah, like Thunderbolt Ross has been like, they've been teasing him hard for being Red Hulk, right? Like in Black Widow, he was sick, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned with all that stuff, because it's like,
the daughter, the Betty Ross. Like, come on.
yeah, and Betty. I mean, the thing is, if you introduce Betty Ross, they're gonna make her Red She-Hulk. Yeah.
And also Betty Ross too. Like, it was same issue with Jane Foster. I don't even want to see them bring her back, because like last time her and Hulk been together was 2008.
Yeah.
I need to be a recast.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, recast her. Because Liv Tyler just doesn't. She doesn't fit with Mark Ruffalo, in my opinion.
No.
I'll say honestly, just like do a new original love interest for Bruce if you're gonna do a love interest. It doesn't even have to be a comic character. Just do a new original.
I don't know why they try to have a love relationship between her and him and Black Widow. I didn't
That
feel
was
that.
like
It's
the
so-
most forced relationship
Yeah, that was
in
so
real
bad.
life I've ever seen. And people say Anakin and Padme are forced. Like, look at Bruce and Black Widow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nothing like came out of that, like really, like because they went their separate ways. Because Bruce Banner had to go, he went to separate way, and we got from Thor Ragnarok, and since they've been reunited, nothing's happened since then. Like basically, it was Endgame where you saw most of them together, and they're like,
Yeah, they cut all their scenes together. There's like a scene you could see in the trailer. There's a scene where he's building the Hulkbuster, like fixing the Hulkbuster. That whole scene got cut because the Hulk wasn't in the ending, right? So they had to like change it up drastically because the plan was to have Hulk bust out of the Hulkbuster, but for some reason last minute they cut it, right? So I don't know why they did that. It was like such a really weird like I do you know this is why I was saying like they do some weird stuff with the Hulk, right? Because if you remember in Age of Ultron, we were supposed to get Gray Hulk, right? Which was a not the Gray Hulk from the comic, right? Joe Fixit, but it was supposed to be another layer of the Hulk persona, right? That's why he was freaking out was because that Hulk hadn't actually come out before, and Wanda forced him out, right? And they completely cut all of this out, right? They changed it up where it's just like, yeah, it's just Hulk freaking out, right? And they never actually touched on why Hulk was actually freaking out in that moment. And that's why I don't like the MCU Hulk, right? Because it's like all his good character development has been cut away, right? And it's not like they didn't record it. It's recorded, right? Like they have cuts of it, right? The CGI is probably not finished, but they just were like, yeah, get rid of it. And it's like, why? So that's my problem.
the whole movie was a mess. Age of Ultron.
Yeah, it is.
MCU Hulk and even Thor for me, but Hulk in general as the Avenger, his character arc is like, and if you look at, let's start back at Incredible Hulk. He goes from a semi kind of intelligent Hulk, not completely dumb, but he kind of reminded me of Planet Hulk. He's standing up upright, walking perfectly normal. He's not hunched over like a gorilla. Then in Avengers 1, he's Savage Hulk. Then in Thor Ragnarok, he's a baby. And it's like, this progression doesn't even make sense. It's like backwards. It's, whatever character development they try to do for Hulk, I'm not sure they can do for him, in my opinion, because they wasted him these past 10 years. All the good times they could have set up stuff, they could have done it earlier, and they didn't. Like your whole thing with the Grey Hulk thing, like that would have been tight. That would have made sense for why he raged out the way he did in Avengers 2, because we don't know why he raged out. We can theorize that maybe Wanda showed humanity, rejecting him or something else, but he just raged out to rage out. Like, what was the cause?
They could go back to it and retcon it and say he saw what's the character's name? Fuck. What's the Hulk persona in the future? I'm totally blanking on his name.
The 2099 Hulk, like how far?
Yeah, like far into the future. Starts with the M. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, Maestro.
Maestro, yeah. They could say that, right? Because Hulk doesn't actually like Maestro, so maybe he saw what was going on and he freaked out. But I don't know, remember who said this, and it wasn't a rumor, but it was the fact that the Hulk that was supposed to be the Gray Hulk was a different level, right? Because in the comics, like Hulk is like an iceberg, right? Like it's kind of like what they teach you in psychology about like the ego and the id, right? Where it's like the different layers. So it's like it's the same way for Hulk, right? There's different levels, right? So there's Devil Hulk, which is like the deepest one, right? And he's like super powerful and he's extremely smart. And he's kind of the manifestation of the abuse that Bruce Banner's dad, as a kid, his dad used to be extremely abusive, right?
Yeah.
And so the Devil Hulk manifested as that.
His dad used to throw him like a baseball as a baby.
Oh yeah, damn. Yo, man used to come out with the belt. He's like, God damn. Fuck.
Oh,
I'm not saying nobody should be throwing babies like baseball bats, but the dad was literally chucking him like he was just an average baseball. Swinging him
oh my
around.
god.
Yeah, like he is extremely abusive.
Yeah.
Like this
yeah.
guy, he told him, he's like, the reason why he's such a piece of shit, by the way. He's like, oh, the reason why I don't like you is because you fucked everything up. The moment you were born, I fucking hated you. And he tells him this, and the man's burning in hell, and he's telling him this. It's fucking crazy. It's like shit. I was like, the MCU will never, never do
No.
that.
No, not touch that. No, not touch that. No.
But it's such a, like, I really love that, like, whole idea that, like, the Hulk is like just this character that is a manifestation of all Bruce Banner's anger and the abuse that he's gone through, and it makes the character much more interesting and sympathetic, right? Like the Hulk is just like a child who's come out and been like, I'm so pissed off at the world, right? And the MCU it's like the MCU just doesn't understand the Hulk. Like that's the sad part. Like, so he's such a great character that's kind of wasted.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the potential of the Hulk has never really been realized out of any of the original members. It feels like he's been the least utilized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on. I have stuff to do. This is a good conversation about a lot of topics.
Yes, as usual.
Before I let you guys go, you can promote your stuff. So we'll go from George, and then we'll make our way down. So go ahead, George.
All right, you can just find me at Just George. I'm not just Toxic George. I'm just using that for today, just to make fun of a certain Geralt. But
You're
yeah,
toxic. I'm joking.
you can find me at Just George. I've been reviewing Batman stuff lately, either tomorrow or Monday because I have Monday off. I'm gonna be reviewing the Dark Knight. I'm gonna be reviewing the Dark Knight Rises. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, please check out my channel when you get a chance to.
Nice.
You guys can find me at sjk.sanctum. I'll be dropping a new video on the most recent South Park episode today, and I also dropped another video about Seth Rogen's new TMNT animated film. So go check those out. Videos coming out today, but that's all I gotta say for me.
Cool. So I'm Blinded Braille. You can find me on Twitter. I'm still working on this long edited video that I'm making. But right now I'm just doing stuff with Tony on his channel, The Geek Getaway. So you can subscribe there and you'll probably find me talking about similar stuff here. So
yeah, so I know Arkham just left. I'm sorry, Arkham. Yeah, he came at the end.
oh damn. Oh.
And he's like, I think he knows that we're at the end. I'm sorry, Arkham. But yeah, check out these guys out. I don't know what my next stream is going to be. It could be Monday or Tuesday. I don't know if I have to think of a topic, but yeah. Yeah, so like, share, subscribe, comment below. And before I let you guys, everybody else go, where's that thing I like to use? Where's that little clip? Where is it? Oh, here we go.
Too sweet! Sweet! Too sweet! Too sweet!
So yeah, take care, everybody. AWO and Error is out.
Take care.
Peace.